Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Depravity by Matilda Martel, narrated by Stephanie Rose and Tyler Darby. 1. Camila. No! The word strikes like a bomb, shattering the silence that usually follows my father's solemn declarations. It's the only word I can utter, the only syllable that manages to escape through my clogged throat, but I know it'll be costly. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings, the only girl, and the apple of my father's eye. But I have a feeling that's all about to change. Suddenly, my father's head snaps toward me.
No. What do you mean by no?
His brows pull low with confusion, as if he isn't sure if I'm rebelling or if I just misunderstood. He isn't used to having his decisions questioned, least of all by an 18-year-old who relies on his generosity for her survival. That's the problem. It's exhausting to exist day to day like a robot with no passion or ambition. Is it fair that I have to give up my dreams so young? My mother, whose surprise matches mine, makes a weak plea for my salvation. It's nothing but empty posturing. When the chips are down, she always gives in to my father's wishes. Camila is 18. Why are you trying to marry her off when you're the first one to call her immature? Your brother's daughters didn't marry until their mid-20s. My father smiles, placating her with a kiss on the cheek before promptly ignoring her concerns.
And what better way to grow up? She'll go to New York, marry a powerful man, and...
He cuts his words, rethinking whatever garbage he's seconds from unloading. And what? What are you going to say? You think I should marry a powerful man who will take me off your hands? Is that what you think of me, Papa? Am I an inconvenience? A feral child you want to abandon to a man I've never met? I raise my voice, too enraged to hold back. The nerve. My father deals in drugs and murder, but somehow I'm the troublemaker.
Camila, I never said such a thing. Your brothers and I will miss you dearly, and your mother will be lost without you.
His sweaty face crimsons with only a fraction of the shame he should feel. I'm his only daughter, yet he feels no obligation to protect me. I have a good mind to plant a bomb in his bedroom and blow him to smithereens. And maybe I would, if my mother didn't sleep beside him. New York, Felipe? She's my baby, and you're sending her halfway around the world. Mama finally puts 2 and 2 together. My marriage means my departure, and I'm the last chick in the nest. She claims motherhood is the cornerstone of her existence, although I've yet to see any evidence of that.
Gabriella, I'm not sending her to Japan. She'll be on the same continent and a 5-hour flight away. I'll buy you a house in the city, and you can visit her whenever you like.
He sighs with exasperation. My mother's frantic expression settles into something resembling a satisfied grin. Trips to Manhattan? That's right up her alley. I stare, stunned at the pair of jackals deciding my fate, and my broken heart shrivels in my chest. My father's decision shouldn't surprise me, but I never thought it would come so soon. I thought I had more time to plan, time to attend college or fall in love. Maybe, with enough pleading, I could have convinced him to let me go. But that was nothing more than a pipe dream. Girls like me don't marry for love. In my world, 2 people come together to seal deals worth billions. Emotion is an afterthought. Love is a fluke.
Nothing is set in stone, Mila. The Serpicos won't be here for another month, and Carlos Cortez is still offering Papa the moon. He can be incredibly persuasive. Negotiations could last all year.
My oldest brother, Iago, offers a half-hearted smile and, as always, tries to talk me off the ledge. I nod, too choked up to reply. He's always looked out for me, but I'm unsure how he'll protect me when I'm in New York and he remains here. I won't pretend I come from honorable people. My father is a drug lord. No, he's the drug lord, head of the Santa Muerte cartel, a merciless cult of cartel brothers that recently squashed their competitors by bribing the federal police, severing routes, and killing the next generation of rivals. My brothers work for him, both capos, both criminals and faithful members of the Holy Death. One day, they'll take over and split my father's territory in half. Iago in the south and Dario in the north. Until then, they bide their time and do their best to protect me from the ugliness of their world. But I know enough. I know about the guns, drugs, backroom deals, and contract killings. It's hard to turn a blind eye when you grow up in the eye of the storm. As much as I'd love to run away, I don't have anywhere to go. My parents would find me sooner than I could reach Texas. Relatives won't house me. Friends won't save me. Allies north and south of the border will happily turn me in. They'd have no choice. If word of their betrayal reached my father's goons, repercussions would be swift and brutal. Felipe Castro's propensity for violence is legendary. But all is not lost. Fewer options simply call for more creative solutions. Tonight, I'll cry into my pillow and mourn the death of my dreams. I'll come to terms with the unpleasant truth. No one wants to admit their seemingly loving parents can sell them to a stranger. They've always claimed to have my best interests at heart. But I've always known the truth. I've always known I'd have to save myself. Sweetheart, give this a chance. Dante Serpico and his nephew Diego arrive next month. You'll meet, talk, and get to know one another. Nothing is set in stone. My mother squeezes my hand and then caresses my face, gently patting my cheek as she wipes away an errant tear. When my father tries to interject, she silences him with a glare. It's just a meeting, right? Like Iago says. Nothing is set in stone? Her eyes narrow as she tries to read my father's bewildered expression. It doesn't matter what she says. It makes no difference what Iago assures. My father's mind is set on a Serpico, and there's only one available to consider. Diego, the madman of Manhattan.
Of course, dear. Nothing is set in stone.
My father lies, then locks hands with my mother, lifting her wrist to his lips and smiling proudly at the beautiful woman he chose for himself. As much as he boasts about tradition, Felipe Castro doesn't abide by those rules. His father expected him to marry the daughter of a Colombian rival, but she wasn't the woman he wanted. While his Colombian fiancé traveled to Mexico in preparation for the wedding, she received news that her intended had run off with a telenovela actress, my mother, Gabriela. In typical fashion, he suffered zero consequences for his defiance. My mother's fame and my grandfather's love of her hit show kept him from disowning his disobedient son. His hypocrisy astounds me. I cross my arms over my chest and bite my bottom lip, struggling to devise a plan to save me from their evil plot. I may be spoiled and sheltered, but that doesn't mean I'm not a fighter. How can they expect me to comply with an arranged marriage when they fought for love? If he's gone through the trouble of inviting the leader of New York's 5 families to examine the merchandise, and by that I mean me, then my doom might be just around the corner. Iago sidles closer and wraps a hefty, tattooed arm around my shoulders. Smiling wide, he murmurs through clenched teeth,
Dario and I will always protect you, little sister. No matter what happens, no matter what crazy bastard you marry. Never forget you have 2 lunatic brothers who will burn down the whole fucking world if anyone hurts a hair on your head.
My jaw drops, more frightened than confused. I don't think I can do it. I don't want to marry a stranger. He'll want to sleep with me. He'll want babies. I'm only 18 years old. My voice breaks as my mind spins with worst-case scenarios. Iago cuts me off with a groan, uncomfortable listening to me talk about sex with men, even my future husband.
There are made men all over the world combing their hair and dousing themselves in cologne, preparing to throw their hat into the ring. Colombians, Sicilians, Russians, you name it. String them along and drag it out as long as you can. The friendly competition will drive the stakes higher and keep you home longer.
That will never work. Papa will see right through me. I wring my hands so tightly, my knuckles turn white. Iago dips his head, his voice nothing but a breath.
What the hell do you have to lose?
He's right. What the hell do I have to lose?
2. Diego. 6 months later. Marriage is a sacred institution. It's something I respect. It takes balls to trust another human being, and I applaud those who do so. It requires selflessness, vulnerability, and the ability to embrace someone despite their faults. But that shit isn't for me. I don't want a wife. There's no way I could devote myself to one woman, emotionally or physically. My only family is the Costa Nostra. My uncles believe love makes them stronger, but I think it makes them weak as fuck. They used to be cold-hearted killers, but Nadia Corvo changed their perspective and made them soft. Their world revolves around her, and the Serpico family is no longer their top priority. I won't make the same mistake. For now, they have me by the balls, but soon I'll be in charge. When I am, I'll put things right. I'm not marrying Camila Castro. Choose someone else. I gripe through clenched teeth, then inhale the tiny glass of grappa before wiping my mouth with the back of my hand. My Uncle Daniel narrows his gaze, then lifts the glass to his lips, savoring the sweet flavor of his favorite digestive. He invited me to dinner to share the news I've dreaded for weeks. Details have been negotiated, and wedding plans are underway. Why the fuck did I ever sign that fucking piece of paper? Choose someone else. Like Julia DeLuca. You've had your hand up her skirt for years and never once considered marrying her. She's not the right choice. I don't want DeLucas anywhere near this family. His hypocrisy stuns me. Until 5 years ago, he would have said the same about anyone with the last name Corvo, but that didn't prevent him from marrying one. Since Julia isn't on my radar, I don't protest. Due to her unhinged behavior, we haven't been intimate in close to a year. She's convinced herself we belong together and turned my dating life into a sideshow. Not Julia, I rasp, mulling over alternate names that never appear. I don't care enough about marriage to consider who would make the perfect match. There is no perfect anything. Stop complaining. All 5 families, the Russians and the fucking Irish, have sons who would love to be in your position. He looks over his shoulder and tips his head at Boris Volkov, a slimy motherfucker who rules Brooklyn like Ivan the Terrible. Brutal, merciless. He'd probably sell his mother to match his psychopathic son to Camila. And he should. It would save me the trouble of marrying her. Let them have her. She's a fucking child and a world-class cocktease. Someone caught her making out with Elias Cortez at her father's club. Colin, from Boston, told me she showed him her tits. And if that's not enough, she led Vito Gambino on for weeks. She allowed him to believe she was considering his proposal, knowing damn well we were already negotiating with her father. He showed everyone her engagement ring 2 days before she ghosted him, carving out his heart and serving it to him on a platter. I recount the story as it was told to me. I couldn't care less about Vito's love life. I just need an example to prove that choosing her is a horrible mistake. Daniel rolls his eyes and adjusts his cuffs. I heard that rumor was started by Elias after she turned him down. Colin is a fucking liar who just wanted to piss you off. And if you ask me, Vito had it coming. Who buys an engagement ring for a woman who is already engaged? We've got a contract, Diego. You're not getting out of it. We gave you a choice, and you said you'd secure this fucking alliance. If you'd rather not take over, tell me now. I'll call Dante and get you off the hook. I stare at my uncle's dismissive expression, and my anger escalates, simmering to a scalding fury that leaves me breathless. You gave me no choice. I gulp in air, and my nostrils flare with contempt. All these years, I prepared to succeed Dante, devoted my life to family, the one my father gave his life protecting. And just when I'm a few years from taking my place at the head of the family, you throw in the worst possible stipulation. I bang my fist on the table and draw unwanted attention from curious diners, craning their necks to listen to our private conversation. Poor you. Daniel chuckles and takes another sip of grappa. You're marrying a gorgeous, passionate, 18-year-old virgin who looks like a swimsuit model. Can you blame her for playing the field before her family ships her off to another country and forces her to marry a man she's never met? And don't bring up your father to me. He was my big brother, and I miss the hell out of him. But if you've forgotten, he also submitted to an arranged marriage that worked out exceedingly well for him. He was crazy about your mother. He's right. My parents were arranged, and miraculously fell in love despite the odds stacked against them. But I'm not my father, and happy endings are not my thing. I live in a dangerous world, and don't need the kind of baggage a wife will bring. It's hard enough worrying about my own survival. I don't need to worry about someone else's safety. I curl my fists into tight balls. I'm wound so tight, I may punch the first waiter who passes by. After everything that's happened over the last year, I can't believe these fuckers are really going to make me go through with it. It was my fault for thinking the delay would go on for years. I was a fool to believe Camila's reputation would poison the well and make my uncle back out of the deal. No matter how many rumors I start, nothing seems to get through. I sigh, flexing and unflexing my hands to keep myself from starting a fight. Camila's too young for me. I'm 26. She's 18. Nothing good can come from this. I shake my head with disapproval, needlessly stressed by a woman I've never met. It's bad enough I'll be irrevocably linked to a teenage girl without any world experience, but I hear she's the biggest fucking brat in Mexico. Nadia just turned 21, and there are 20 years between us. His cool tone masks his obvious annoyance. Yes, I know, and I've silently judged you for it. Daniel runs a hand across his stubbled jaw and shakes his head as his features cloud with discomfort. My arrangement was not his idea, and I know he'd stop it if he could, but he'll never go against his twin brother's decisions. You're 26, and she's 18. He stammers but manages to keep his emotions in check. I thought you'd have more time, too. I didn't know her father would marry her off so young, but he's eager to ally himself with the 5 families. This deal benefits all of our allies and business partners. You'll be the hero, and when Dante retires next year, no one will question you taking his place. Isn't that what you want? You know what I want. I want to lead the Serpico family. I want the whole city of New York to bow down to me. Why the fuck does that have to involve Camila Castro? Stop complaining, pack your fucking bags, and get to the airfield on time. We leave for Mexico in the morning.
3. Camila. Are you sure that's what you want to wear? My cousin, Sophie, stares into the mirror and fluffs her wavy hair, sizing me up with one eye and admiring her beauty with the other. She's here for moral support, but she's doing a terrible job so far. My parents wanted to keep the dinner party intimate, not wanting any unnecessary witnesses to the epic tantrum I've planned for months. When I refused to attend, they compromised and allowed me to invite my emotional support cousin. I smooth the front of my dress, grimacing at the pale pink couture gown that caught my mother's eye on our last trip to Los Angeles. She swore it was the perfect mix of sexy and innocent, and asked me to save it for tonight. Her romantic sensibilities have led her to believe that Diego and I will somehow fall head over heels and live happily ever after. If that is what she needs to tell herself to justify this travesty and relieve her guilt, then so be it. But I know better.
She looks gorgeous. Tell her she looks gorgeous.
My mother stands behind me as I face the full-length mirror, and her eyes brim with unshed tears. She gathers the pink silk sash at my waist and ties it into a bow, letting it hang just above my ass. This is such a ridiculous dress. I should have taken the time to choose my own, but it's hard to find the motivation to go on a shopping spree when you don't care one way or the other.
I'm so proud of you, sweetheart.
She leans forward and kisses my bare shoulder, smiling from ear to ear as she prepares to sacrifice me to the lions. What have I done to deserve praise? I'm a coward.
Mila, it's lovely but far too conservative for a night like this. It screams church, and you want something that shouts, "Come get me, big boy."
Sophie spritzes perfume into the air and jumps into the fragrant mist. I shake, irritated with her evaluation of my threads. I know it stinks, but there's no time to find an alternative.
There are no big boys, and no one is coming to get me. This is an arranged marriage.
I snap, adjusting my hem and lifting the bodice to hide the centimeter of cleavage desperate to make an appearance. As much as I hate looking frumpy, I don't want that maniac to get the wrong impression or think I'm trying to make him fall in love. This may be business, but I don't want him to think I'm open for business.
Stop that. You'll rip it.
My mother slaps my fidgety hand and brushes the hair off my shoulders.
I know this isn't ideal, but you promised to behave tonight.
Her words sound familiar, but I'm unsure if they're mine. I may have uttered something similar when I was high on melatonin. Besides, she knows better than to rely on my compliance. The last 6 months have been filled with my angry tirades and embarrassing hysterics. But tonight, I'm supposed to be different. Tonight, all their hard work becomes a reality. If I can just keep it together. The Serpicos are coming to dinner. Diego, my future husband, and I will finally meet. Between the prying eyes of my parents and his uncle, we'll stand face to face for the first time before we marry next month. The cathedral is booked. The reception is planned. My dress, an outlandish confection of French silk and Spanish lace, is on its way from Paris. There's no getting out of it now.
Are we done? Can we get this over with?
I lift my wrist to show my mother the time, frustrated by the situation and annoyed that Sophia is making me self-conscious in the 11th hour. My mother nods, hugs me again, and scampers into the hallway.
I think I hear voices. I'll go downstairs and let them know you're ready.
She blows me a kiss and leaves the door open, a subtle hint reminding me to move my ass.
Are you ready? Do you want me to spray some of this perfume on your wrists? You want to make a good impression, don't you?
Sophia lifts the small glass bottle and points the nozzle in my direction. I wrinkle my nose, cringing at the thought of shaking his hand, smelling his vile cologne, or listening to that New York accent spout nonsense to placate my father. All these goons have been the same. They take one look at me, lick their lips, and mentally undress me, waiting for the chance to get me alone. I'll be damned if I make this easy on him. I reach for my diamond bangle, a gift from my grandmother, and clasp it onto my wrist.
I'm not in the mood, Sophie. He's lucky I bathed and rolled on deodorant.
I step into the hall and steady my feet, inhaling deep breaths to temper the beat of my racing heart. It's all downhill from here. I step toward the landing and stop to gather my thoughts, willing my feet to move and praying I don't hyperventilate. Deep Italian voices make my ears perk, and I step closer to the balcony's edge, peering down to the bottom floor. My gaze falls on two men striding confidently through the foyer toward the living room. My jaw drops at the sight of a tall, Italian drink of water dressed in a navy blue bespoke suit that hugs his broad, muscular physique. Tattoos peek out from the top of his starched collar and emerge past his French cuffs. He must be covered in them.
"Oh my God, is that him?"
Sophie whispers, tiptoeing behind me, drawn to the same sound as me. Her trembling hand grips the railing, and she cranes her neck to look closer.
"I'm not sure. The older one must be his Uncle Dante, which means the younger one—"
I swallow hard, unable to speak the words out loud. He's the most handsome man I've ever seen. His wavy black hair, strong chiseled jaw, and pale green eyes, the color of the sea after a storm, make him look like a Roman god, a modern Apollo, looking for a nymph to ravish. And I'm the nymph.
"Your husband?"
Sophie gasps. Her eyes widen with avarice, and my heart stings with jealousy. I shudder with disgust. The emotion is ludicrous. I don't know him, and I don't want him. So why do I push her over the ledge for eyeing my man? My man? Get a hold of yourself, for fuck's sake.
"Shall we go? I'm sure they're waiting for you to make your entrance."
Sophie senses my hesitance and offers her hand. I start to nod, but feel my head sway from side to side instead. I'm not ready to meet him. Not yet. First impressions mean everything, and something feels off. I stare down at my dress, a beautiful mess of pink organza and silk, and my face heats with shame. I feel like a little girl who's had a princess makeover at Disneyland. It isn't me. I may not have any practical experience with men, but I won't pretend I don't like when they look at me. I love being admired and desired. It's the only power I wield. Diego doesn't want me. He's told everyone with ears that I'm too young, silly, and bratty to tame. That sounds perfect to me. I don't want to be tamed. And I don't give a damn what he thinks of me. I refuse to play the shrinking violet, the good Mafia princess who bows her head and only says please and thank you. That's not my style, and neither is this fucking dress.
"Hold up. I need to change. Go downstairs and buy me some time."
I nudge Sophie away from the landing while whispering, fearing someone downstairs will hear the panic in my voice.
"What do I say? Should I say you're sick?"
she asks, her eyes wide with concern.
"Not sick. It sounds like something digestive, and that's not an image I want in their minds. Say I have a headache, and I went back for Advil."
There's a high probability my mother will come upstairs to look for me, so I need to move quickly.
"Headache, Advil, you'll be down in 5 minutes. Got it."
She chuckles, repeats her tasks, and waits for confirmation. I give her a thumbs up, and she turns on her heels with a tiny kick before skittering down the marble staircase. Where did I leave that dress? I rush into my closet and search the space between the lower rack and the carpet. It's one of the few places the housekeeper doesn't bother to check when cleaning my room. My mother doesn't typically police my attire. I'm young, and she understands I want to look sexy. But this dress will definitely push the boundaries of her patience. I unfold the black dress and hold it against my torso, molding the fabric against my frame. It's over-the-top sexy, with barely enough material to cover my ass. It makes the Dior lovingly chosen by my mother look like something my 62-year-old grandmother might wear for a night of margaritas and salsa dancing with my grandpa. It's elegant and demure, with only a hint of sex appeal. I bet she thought it was so daring. Worried someone will send a search party upstairs to find me, I quickly change from my sensible white panties into a black lace thong, fearing my panty lines will ruin the seamless effect. I lift the dress over my head and slide it on, pulling the long, ruffle-fringed sleeves over my arms. The soft, ruched fabric hugs my body and molds to my flesh like a second skin, cinching my waist like a more comfortable corset. It's beyond bold. The micro mini skirt makes my legs look longer, while the lace-up bodice lifts my breasts. I stare into the mirror with stunned admiration. It's exquisite, but trampy, expensive and cheap. It's the incarnation of sex bundled in a black, off-the-shoulder, ruffled dress. How can I allow an opportunity like this to go to waste?
4. Diego. This is a fucking joke. I groan under my breath, seething with contempt as my Uncle Daniel and I stride into the palatial beach house of the biggest fucking narco in Mexico. It's a goddamn fortress, located on prime Maya Riviera real estate, nestled between the Tulum jungle and the blue Caribbean water. A paradise hidden in plain view, owned by a man who deals in death. Lower your voice. If anyone hears you disparaging Castro's daughter, they'll shoot first and ask questions later. Straighten your tie, wipe the sweat off your forehead, and smile. Don't make me tell you again. Daniel grunts, annoyed by my constant complaining. I can't help myself. It's oppressively hot and I feel overdressed in a suit. I haven't said shit about her. I'll save that for later. I'll bet you my new Rolex that crazy chick throws a fit big enough to bring the house down. I loosen my tie and run a sweaty palm through my hair, trying to smooth away the damage caused by the sticky humidity. Daniel grimaces, trying to maintain the facade that nothing bothers him. Don't forget, I'm here as Dante. He straightens his tie and adjusts his cufflink, channeling his twin brother's cocky swagger and struggling to stay in character. They've played this game for as long as I can remember. Identical twins can be in two places at once if most of the world doesn't know the other twin exists. It makes sense why Dante would choose to send Daniel in his stead. Dante is the head of the family, and much less expendable than his brother. Mexico is a dangerous place. The Serpicos wield power all over the world, but we're always vulnerable outside New York. My father found that out the hard way, and my uncles don't want to repeat old mistakes. When he demanded I accompany him to Playa del Carmen, I was under the assumption I'd have one fucking day of rest and relaxation before forcing me to make nice with Felipe Castro's bratty daughter. This meeting is long overdue, and that's my fault. I've avoided it for months, but with our wedding 4 weeks away, I need to suck it up and play ball. Why couldn't they come to New York? Don't be a fucking guy. Be a man. I don't give a shit what your generation tells you about playing hard to get or letting a woman chase you. A man always chases his woman. He doesn't let her come to him. He goes to her. Daniel grits his teeth, exasperated with my less than chivalrous stance. Who does he think he's talking to? He's known me all my life, and I'm no one's knight in shining armor. Women are temporary amusements. I don't give a shit who chases who. That's not what I mean. It's hot as hell here. You'll be fine. Maybe you'll sweat out some of the cologne you bathed in. He rolls his eyes as we march through the manicured gardens toward the entryway. Our footfalls echo off the polished terracotta tile leading to the hand-carved double doors where two burly men stand guard, ready to frisk every person who enters the drug lord's hallowed halls. Someone named Greco pats me down. I recognize his face from the last time we had business in Mexico City. He's one of the few sane people involved in Felipe Castro's organization, and I appreciate him not overstepping and checking beneath my balls. What motherfucker would hide a gun there? Welcome to our home. Felipe Castro approaches, looking like a more debonair version of Ricardo Montalban. He's tall and fit, with dark eyes, jet black hair, and dressed in a cream-colored linen suit. A far better choice than the one sticking to my sweaty skin. He's flanked by his sons, Iago and Dario. scary bastards who tower over their larger-than-life father, carrying matching Grim Reaper tattoos on their necks, signifying their allegiance to the Holy Death crime family. I'm not looking forward to becoming their brother-in-law. Thank you for inviting us into your family's home. Daniel turns on the charm and transforms before my eyes. He extends his arm to greet the scariest fucker in Mexico without a hint of concern. His stern expression melts, and a familiar smile appears as he shifts into his brother's persona. I'd find it unnerving if I wasn't so accustomed to it. You've met my nephew, Diego. As you can see, he's thrilled to be here. Daniel's sarcasm pisses me off, but I grit my teeth and hold in the sneer that wants to come out. He gestures for me to shake Felipe's hand, like a father urging his son to say please and thank you. I'm 26, too old to be treated like a child, but that fact never dissuades him from trying. I'm close to both my uncles. Both took an active role in helping to raise me after the death of my father. Their older brother. They're identical twins, sons of the former Serpico Don, and raised in a world filled with casual violence and vendettas. My mother tried to shield me as best as possible, but my uncles knew there was no escaping the inevitable. I am my father's son. Leading the Serpicos is my birthright, and I try to remember that as I extend my hand to greet my future father-in-law. It's the least I can do, since marrying his daughter will give me the only thing I've ever wanted, the power and right to rule. Felipe angles his head, inspecting me from head to toe as his gruff voice turns surprisingly kind. We look forward to you joining our little family. My daughter is my prized jewel. Letting her go will pain me greatly. I look at Daniel, and we nod in tandem. She'll be safe with me, I reply honestly. A man like me can never love a woman the way she needs. I don't have a heart to offer or a soul to share, but I'll guard her with my life when she's tied to me, carrying my name. She better be. Iago's jaw tenses as his dark eyes bore into me. If anything happens to her, if you hurt a hair on her head, I will fly to New York, hunt you down, and skin you alive. My hackles rise like an angry cat. His threat makes me reach for my gun, but one tapped my chest, and I remember we were instructed to come unarmed. That's fine by me. I'll use my fucking hands. Control your fucking dog! I roar in Italian, spewing various profanities that make both brothers lunge forward. I don't know if they understand Italian, but the look in their eyes confirms they got the gist. Daniel holds me back, and Felipe lifts his hand, halting his son's movement before all hell breaks loose. If he were anyone else, I would have shot him on the fucking spot. Not that I have a fucking gun to do it. Felipe smiles through clenched teeth, his anger visible by the protruding vein at his temple. He's the leader of the Holy Death, Mexico's most powerful cartel, but he can't seem to control his psychopathic sons. Please forgive my son's overzealous approach concerning his baby sister. I raised my children to be close, and Iago is particularly overprotective. Iago groans, uncomfortable with his father's apologies on his behalf. He meant every damn word and doesn't like anyone retracting his sentiments. I'm the same way. I don't say shit I don't mean. Come meet the family, Felipe continues, steering us into the main room, where an attractive woman dressed to the nines in diamonds and sequins stands with hands clasped, looking anxious to make my acquaintance. With 2 sons pushing 30, she must be close to 50, but she doesn't look a day over 35. She was an actress before marrying Felipe, a national sweetheart and a staple on hit telenovelas. Although I've only seen blurry photos of Camila, I'm pretty sure she takes after her mother. "Welcome, Diego." Gabriela Castro offers a sincere smile and extends her bejeweled hands to me. After greeting Daniel, who she naturally assumes is Dante, she returns to me. "Camila will be right down. She's nervous and fussing over her dress." I can tell she's lying. From what I've heard, Camila has tried as hard as me to squirm out of this deal. It should bruise my ego, but at least I won't have to worry about her falling in love and making it weird. A young woman appears from the staircase, and my heart sinks. She's tall with blonde hair and pale, freckled skin. Pretty enough, but far from my type. This girl looks nothing like her photos. I step closer, reluctantly approaching her, as a wave of disappointment crashes into me. She doesn't look me in the eye or head in my direction, choosing to tiptoe toward her mother to whisper in her ear. I shouldn't feel insulted or slighted. She's 18 and way out of her depth. This isn't a love match. It's business. Standing alone, unsure what to say or do, I turn to Felipe. He chuckles and leads me toward the bar cart, where Daniel chit-chats with Iago and Dario. "That is my niece, Sofia, not my Camilla. Please forgive her tardiness. She'll join us in a moment. It's not every day a woman meets her future husband. I'm sure she wants to look her best." I nod and exhale with relief. This isn't easy for me. My little girl means the world to me. But I realized long ago that my daughter would never be able to live an ordinary life. She was raised among criminals and has had a target on her back since birth. I tried to give her a sense of normalcy, allowing her to go to school in the United States, hoping she'd be safe. After her second kidnapping, I knew she had to come home. Second, my eyes bug. What the hell am I getting into? He nods, scrubbing his beard while his eyes glaze over with memories I'm not sure I want to know anything about. She was ransomed, and of course, I paid every cent. Fortunately, they returned her unharmed. On the third attempt, she escaped before they took her off the property. But danger is always present. If she had one day come to me, wanting to marry a teacher or doctor, I would have had to deny her. Men like that could never protect her. That is why her brothers are so concerned with her safety. My girl is stronger than she looks. Her brothers have taught her how to protect herself. But as a father, I worry. I'm entrusting my greatest treasure to you. Of course, I say, then turn my head to face Daniel, narrowing my gaze with confusion. His stoic expression reveals nothing, and his proximity to Iago makes it impossible to ask for details. Why were so many men chasing this girl? She sounds like far more trouble than any woman is worth. Oh, here comes my daughter. Castro pats my biceps and gestures to the marble staircase as the soft click of heels grows louder. I watch a lithe figure appear. Long black hair swept to one side hangs over a bare, sun-kissed shoulder. The ends graze the swell of her right breast, and my greedy eyes take both in, lost in admiration. My heart races, pounding loudly in my ears as my future wife calmly strides in my direction. She's so beautiful it hurts to look at. She's a vision, the embodiment of lust in a tight black dress that hugs every luscious curve. My eyes skate down the length of her body, from the top of her head to the red toenails peeking out from her stiletto sandals. A surge of primal need courses through me. If the circumstances were different, if I'd seen this girl in one of my clubs or walking down the busy streets of New York, I'd be tempted to throw her over my shoulder and carry her away to my cave. but my penthouse would have done the trick. Mila, what happened to the Dior? Her mother scolds her, but she ignores the criticism, waving away the words as if they were gnats. She lifts her chin and struts toward me, like a model walking the catwalk. Her confidence slays me. She knows she looks amazing, and she expects to be worshipped. That may be easier than I imagined. Camila, this is Diego Serpico. Her father places her hand in mine, a warm gesture he'll repeat next month when we marry in Manhattan. It's bucking tradition, but Felipe chose the venue. Mexico City, one of the few places larger than New York, would have been a logistical nightmare for security. Mucho gusto, Diego. Camila breathes the words as our eyes lock in a smoldering gaze that makes my rising dick throb in my pants. This isn't the time to get turned on. Her brothers are 8 feet away, eyeing my every move and looking for an opportunity to murder me. Es un placer. I tell her it's my pleasure and stroke my thumb against the back of her hand. Electricity crackles between us, and her skin prickles. She pulls away and breaks the momentary spell she's cast on me. But I have a feeling it'll come back. I'm royally screwed. This doesn't feel like business anymore.
5. Camila. Diego stares at me from across the table, a slight smile touching his lips as he lifts his glass to drink. He won't look away. His penetrating gaze has remained permanently glued to me since my father nudged us into a comical embrace at the foot of the stairs. Every time I look up from my plate, his pale green eyes, accentuated by thick black lashes, make my heart skip a beat and my stomach rumble. I'm fucking ravenous, and I can't eat with him watching me. It's not a good look. They've strategically placed us in the middle of the table, hoping our proximity will persuade us to open up and reveal our life stories to one another. 45 minutes into dinner, and it hasn't happened yet. Call me old-fashioned, but I won't be the first to speak. If he's got something worthwhile to say, he can begin. Our family surrounds us, twiddling their thumbs and discussing nonsense topics because none are comfortable enough to bring up the elephant in the room. I hate small talk. If I have nothing to say, I prefer not to speak. I'm perfectly content to sit in silence and refuse to discuss the weather unless a storm is approaching and I need to warn people to take cover. Apparently, Diego feels the same way. As awkward as this evening has become, I respect him for that. They've wanted this alliance for years. It's taken months to come together in the same room and hammer out the final details. Yet, they sit around, sipping wine and prattling about the tourist industry in Playa del Carmen, a subject neither knows anything about. It's maddening. Is this your first time here, Diego? My mother clears her throat and smiles, engaging the grumpy man who's hardly touched his food or said a word throughout dinner. Her discomfort is obvious, but I refuse to make it easier on her. No one is more uncomfortable than us. He shakes his head and replies with almost zero inflection, like he can't be bothered to show interest in anything.
I've been to Mexico City and a few places out west, but never here. Have you found your wedding dress yet?
Dante, Diego's uncle, stops shoveling food into his mouth and tries to help my mother diffuse the awkward silence. I've never seen a man eat so much. He loudly savors every bite and compliments the chef more times than I can count. How does he stay in such great shape? I don't want to answer him. As much as I crave genuine conversation, I don't want to discuss the wedding or my move to New York next week. Once I leave Mexico and become part of the Serpico household, my dreams will slowly die, culminating in the last nail in my coffin, our wedding. But I can't ignore his question. He'll only ask another. Under Diego's watchful eyes, I nod and open my mouth to answer, hoping he'll accept a quick yes and leave it there. With my reply on the tip of my tongue, my mother jumps into the conversation and speaks for me. "Oh my God, it's gorgeous! It's exactly something I would have chosen for myself." She's not lying. She chose a dress she loved and had them size it for me. It's not entirely her fault. After a week of shopping, grappling with my indifference, she was forced to make an executive decision. The dress is lovely, but like most of her selections, it isn't me.
"Do you have a picture of it? I'd love to see it."
Diego finally speaks, his brutal gaze softening as he angles his head and leans closer, placing his elbows on the table. I set my hand over my belly and soothe the fluttering wings of 1,000 butterflies taking flight. I must be out of my mind. There's no denying his beauty. He's the hottest man I've ever seen, and my fingers ache to trace the tattoos on his sinewy hands. No, no, no. I can't let a handsome face dissuade me from my ultimate goal, escaping this life and forging a new one on my own terms. If I don't rein in my libido, he'll find a way to take more than my virginity. He'll steal my heart and squash my will to fight. And I won't let it happen, pretty boy. There's no fucking chance I'll fall in love with a soulless psychopath who lives to inflict pain on others. Yes, he's gorgeous. Yes, he probably looks fantastic naked. But Diego is a ruthless murderer who gets off on killing. He's his uncle's chief enforcer, exterminating disloyal vermin who dare to question the chain of command. This may be the first time we've ever sat in the same room, but I already know everything there is to know about the man I'm marrying. We were both born into this life, but unlike him, I'd give anything to disappear into an ordinary world. I long to live in a small town with farmers' markets and boutique shops that sell homemade quilts, the kind of place where everyone has a dog, says good morning on their way to the local diner, and welcomes hapless strangers seeking refuge from big city life. I really need to stop watching so much Lifetime television and Hallmark Christmas specials. I may know how to kill a man, but I'll never enjoy it. Diego does. Men like him live for the hunt. They love holding the world in the palm of their hands and look for any excuse to annihilate it in their fists. He wouldn't change his life if he could. Diego Serpico isn't husband material. He'll never be a good father to our babies. Babies? Who said anything about babies? I exhale a sharp breath and fight to gather my thoughts as the scent of his cologne penetrates my senses and unravels my hardened resolve. I peek at him from under my lashes, drawn to the raw sexuality oozing from each of his pores, and my traitorous heart races like a wild stallion. Sexual tension thickens the air between us, but I push it down with a silent, exasperated growl. I have a photo of the dress on the hanger. I didn't take any during the fitting. I reach for the cell phone tucked safely under my ass and scroll through the photos, my hands trembling while I search for the right one. He really wants to see my dress? Why does he care? What kind of game is he playing?
That'll do.
Diego waits patiently, his eyes gleaming with curiosity as he extends his arm to reach for my phone. I tap on the screen, zoom in on the photo, and place it face down on the table, preparing to slide it over. It only makes it halfway before my mother quickly intercepts the exchange and attempts to correct the faux pas. "Camila, he can't see your dress before the wedding? It's bad luck." My mother scolds me, shaking her head as she swipes my phone out of my hand and moves it out of my reach. "Everyone knows it's bad luck." Who the fuck cares about luck? We're arranged. I growl, unleashing the heavy resentment strangling my heart. I love my mom, but she can't expect me to play the blushing bride to alleviate her guilt for selling me out. They had their reasons. They've repeated them time and time again. But I don't buy it. If they wanted me to marry into another family for my safety, they could have allowed me to pick from the many candidates who have come forward to offer their hand. Perhaps I would have chosen Diego on my own, but it would have been my choice. My father bangs his fist on the table to silence me, but it's too late to reel in my rage. I don't care if I embarrass him, and care even less about embarrassing myself. I jump to my feet and point a finger at my father, my eye twitching with anger. How can you do this to me? I'm your only daughter, and you're feeding me to the lions. I don't know and don't want this man. I harness my mother's telenovela acting skills and summon tears, screaming at the top of my lungs. Vete al infierno, papá, y llévate a mamá contigo. I bolt from the room like a petulant toddler and sprint upstairs to the sanctuary of my bedroom, counting the minutes until someone drags me out and forces me to apologize. Was it childish? Of course it was. But I'm 18. What the hell does everyone expect?
6. Diego. What the fuck have you done to me? I groan, seething as we walk the short distance to the mission-style villa at the edge of the property. We should have stayed at one of the resorts. I feel like I need to leave the scene of the crime or I'll never get to sleep. Our bodyguards walk behind us, checking the perimeter and signaling to Castro's men that we're coming through. You never know what these trigger-happy lunatics might do. And although we'd put up one hell of a fight, we're no match for Felipe's army. Dante swore it was an insult to turn down the invitation. He said Felipe insisted. Daniel rasped, visibly annoyed when we're forced to walk too close to the soft spray of an oscillating sprinkler. It's easy for him to say that when he's 3,000 miles away from this shitstorm. He's probably curled up next to his new bride without a care in the world, while we're here in the sweltering heat getting chewed out by a teenager. Take your complaints to Dante. He's the pimp, not me. Daniel marches in front of me, his stoic mask beginning to slip. While he walks, he removes his jacket and rips off his tie, muttering profanities and begging me to walk faster so we can take refuge from the heat inside our air-conditioned villa. You sanctioned this. You approved of this union and said it was the best possible match I could get. Seriously? I'm marrying a fucking psycho. I peel off my coat and barge through the front door, exhaling with relief when a rush of cold air slams into my face. I breathe it in, grateful for a night of peace away from the Castros and eager to fly away from them in the morning. We were there less than 2 hours, and my blood pressure climbed through the roof. I'll never survive this marriage. If a bullet doesn't get me, she will. Daniel unfastens his cufflinks and rolls up his sleeves. For once, his expression is readable. He smiles and shakes his head with sarcasm. Don't tell me you're not attracted to her. She's fucking beautiful, and just the type of woman you like. I've been watching you chase girls since you were a teenager getting your first boners. You love crazy girls. You thrive on the highs and lows. And I've heard you say more than once they're always the best lays. For once, a woman might give you a run for your money. She's just as nuts as you. Besides, I saw you trying to hide your erection under the tablecloth. He unbuttons his shirt and heads into the study to pour himself a drink. I follow him, undressing as I walk, desperate to get out of my sweaty suit. I'll admit I liked wilder girls when I was younger, but if you're setting me up to be the next Dawn, I think I should marry someone a bit more subdued. Someone like Nadia. I swipe the drink from his hands and empty the glass in one swig. There's no way he needs a drink more than me. Don't talk about Nadia. You don't know the first thing about my wife. And, for your information, there's nothing subdued about a woman with 2 husbands. He hisses and pours himself another drink. Just admit you liked Camila. Because I had a hard-on? I'm a man. My dick doesn't give a shit if she's a brat. It sees a pretty face accompanied by hot tits and a round ass and has a mind of its own. I make excuses, neglecting to mention I got harder the moment she stormed off to her room. Quiet girls bore me. They always have. but I never expected to get so turned on by a fucking tantrum. What did she scream before she ran upstairs? My Spanish is terrible, but I made out the words father and hell. Did she tell her father to go to hell? He swirls the amber liquid in his glass and smirks. Yep, I laughed to myself, remembering the flame shooting out of her honey eyes as she gave her father a piece of her mind. Motherfucker had it coming for putting us through this bullshit. She told her father to go to hell and to take her mother with him. Spanish is my second language. Italian is my third. My mother was born and raised in this country before her father shipped her off to New York to marry my dad. Although we communicate in English most of the time, she still returns to her native language when she's pissed. I'm guessing it will come in handy very soon. There's no denying Camila is nuts. I should know. Everyone swears I'm a certifiable sociopath, without a conscience. But in my line of work, it's convenient. I don't want to think about the people I've killed. Each one of those fuckers had it coming, and would have killed me if I'd given them half a chance. People like me do what's necessary to survive, and don't have the luxury to regret a damn thing. Camila has more cause to be upset about our wedding. I may be pissed about being arranged, but I'm not cooperating out of the goodness of my heart. Dante wants to retire. Last year, he and Daniel married the same woman, a Mafia princess named Nadia Corvo. I know that sounds weird. There's no fucking way I would share my woman with another man. But I guess twins are different. They're different. Her marriage to Dante is the one everyone knows about, the only one that's technically legal. But the brothers share one woman, love and cherish her. They're happy for the first time in their lives, and long to whisk her away from the war they began when they stole her from her original fiancé, Massimo De Luca. For that to happen, they need me to take over. It's my birthright. If my father hadn't been murdered, I would have succeeded him as the Don of the Serpico family. I've always been next in line, but the moment Dante and Nadia have a son, the line of succession will change. She's lived her life surrounded by crime and doesn't want that for her children. That's where I come in. Dante and Daniel want to give their wife the life she deserves, which means fleeing to their private island to live in solitude and peace. It sounds fucking boring to me, but it's not my decision. Dante and Daniel have always done exactly as they please. They have a year to transfer power to me, a year to convince the other families I'm ready to lead the Serpicos and the 5 families that make up the heart of the New York crime world. Marrying Camila gives me the kind of connections that come around once in a lifetime and last for generations. And although I bitch to anyone who will listen, Dante gave me a choice. If I choose to back out, no one will force me to go through with it. Camila wasn't given any options and personally gains nothing from our arrangement. She can't say no. She can't choose someone else. And if she runs away, both families will hunt her down. I almost pity her. Why are you standing here in your fucking underwear? Daniel cocks his head to one side, his eyes narrowing with curiosity. I look down at my bare legs with socks still in place. It's too hot for clothes. Do you think Castro minds if I hit the pool? I need to work off the stress from dealing with that girl. He shrugs and tucks a bottle of scotch under his arm, sipping the rest of his drink while he heads to the stairs. Don't stay up late. We've got a hectic day tomorrow. My brows pull low as I try to understand what he means. Don't we leave in the morning? I can sleep on the plane. Daniel sways his head from side to side, then considers his next words like he knows they'll piss me off. On our way out, Felipe suggested sending Camila back with us tomorrow instead of waiting another week. He thinks the sooner she gets acclimated to her new life, the better she'll adjust. He doesn't want her throwing a fit at the wedding and embarrassing both our families. His news hovers over my head like a dark cloud preparing to strike me down with a bolt of lightning. I stare, confused, speechless, struggling to form words to counter everything he said. She's staying with me? I can't. This feels like a fucking nightmare. I'm not ready to deal with her 24/7. He cuts me off before I finish my rant. No, to protect her virtue, she'll live with us until you marry. It's what her father wants. But you should get to know her better before you say I do. Maybe you'll fall in love. Daniel gives me a wise-ass smirk and darts up the stairs, his long legs taking 2 steps at a time. We've got the easy part. They still need to break the news to Camila.
7. Camila. I expected this. Even when I convinced myself my parents would change their minds, I always expected the worst. In my world, it's foolish to wish for the best. But that doesn't mean I've abandoned all hope. When no savior appears, you must take matters into your own hands and proceed with caution. It won't be easy, and I'll have to play dirty, but I think I know how to save myself. I should never have relied on anyone else. If you remove the kidnappings, threats, and living under the constant scrutiny of law enforcement, my life hasn't been so bad. Inside the confines of my gilded cage, I've led a life of luxury most people can only dream about. But it comes at a price. My family's love has always had conditions. Is that it? Do you have anything else you want to say to me? I use my teeth to steady my quivering bottom lip and concentrate on a portrait of my great-grandmother, Camila, hanging on the opposite side of the room. She died when I was 8, but we had a special connection while she was alive. I don't think she'd let them send me away if she were here. It's for the best, Mila. My mother wipes the lone teardrop on the corner of her eye and sighs with defeat, like she's tried everything she could to reach me, and this is just how it has to be. Everyone has come together to sing the same tune. Sending me away to live with strangers weeks before that move becomes permanent is somehow the best thing that could happen to me. The naughty girl has tried their patience, and expulsion is the only choice. My mother is a terrific actress, and once upon a time, she won awards. She knows how to manipulate me with guilt, but it won't work this time. I nod with resignation, staring straight ahead to avoid eye contact with either of my parents. They want me to throw another fit, scream, and break things to justify their callous behavior. I had every right to lash out. I'm not out of control because I have no control over anything. Yes, perhaps it's for the best. I'll be a Serpico soon, and I need to get to know my new family. My monotone voice remains steady, robotic, and devoid of emotion or pain. It's a defense mechanism I developed as a child. Civility always wounds them more than anger. And please let me know if you can't attend the wedding. If you can't make it, I'll have Diego's uncle walk me down the aisle. I choose my passive-aggressive words carefully, hoping each one stings more than the one before. If my heart is breaking, so will theirs. As expected, my mother gasps. Her legs begin to give out. My father pulls her into his embrace, holding her steady on her feet while reprimanding me for saying something so cruel.
Mila, of course we'll be there. Your mother plans to fly to New York in 2 weeks to help you prepare for your wedding. Nothing has changed.
I shrug, rolling my eyes as I stride into my closet and search my drawers for my newest bathing suit. Don't wear yourselves out. I'm sure Diego's mother can help me with the finishing touches. I've heard she's lovely. I prey on my mother's insecurities and jealousies.
Mija, I know you're mad.
My father wrings his hands, and his booming voice drops to a whisper. I'm not angry. As you said, it's for the best. I wave my hand and coldly dismiss them from my presence. If you don't mind, I'd love to take a swim before bed. I'll pack my things in the morning. I finally see my mother's eyes watering with genuine tears. Stepping closer, She squeezes my hand lightly. I'll help you pack in the morning. Unless you're unsure. Perhaps we can wait another week? Her words trail off as she turns to my father and suddenly changes direction.
Gabriella!
My father groans, his gaze growing stern as he tries to communicate with his eyes. Papa is right. It's for the best. Don't worry about me. I'm 18, a grown woman moving on to the next chapter of my life. I'm sure we'll keep in touch. I narrow my gaze and deliver the death blow to my mother's heart. She stills, and my bitter words drain the color from her tear-stained face. Mila, her voice trails off as sorrow engulfs her. The way things are now isn't how I want them to be, but I have no choice. A quiet breath escapes me as I fight the tears that threaten to spill. With every thumping beat, my heart clenches in my chest, and the pain grows. Despite the fact that I am no longer a little girl, I do not wish to leave my family. The unknown terrifies me, and I'm afraid I'll spend the rest of my life regretting choices I never had the chance to make. The moment my mother's cries turn into wails, I force myself not to run into her arms and plant my feet firmly on the carpet. It was entirely preventable. My father would never have gone against her wishes if she had put her foot down. Death is less frightening to him than losing her love. With a wave of my hand, I rush them through the door before my dam of tears bursts. My mother hesitates, unable to go to sleep without resolving the issue. As much as she wants my forgiveness, I won't give it. Good night, baby. We love you, she whimpers and sniffles against my father's shoulder. Thank you. Good night. It's rude and cruel, but I'll fall apart if I don't keep things impersonal. With their hands clasped, they shuffle into the hallway, murmuring apologies as they look at my expressionless face for signs of remorse. They won't find it. However, if they look closely, they'll see pain.
8. Diego. Under the full moon's light, I propel my tired body through Felipe Castro's infinity pool and try to burn away the doubts plaguing my weary mind. Even though I hate this place, I feel like I'm in paradise when I see the Mayan decorative tiles lining the bottom of the pool and palm trees on either side. Theoretically, I could adapt to a slower life if I lived in a place like this, but relaxation has never been one of my strong suits. As I stretch my arms over my head, I let my body float to the surface. I breathe in the salty air carried by the slow-moving wind and experience a sense of weightlessness. There is something comforting about being alone. In the city, a member of my team is always nearby, watching out for potential rivals and enemies. My apartment is the only place where I can find peace. Men like me seldom get the chance to enjoy solitude. We live dangerous lives, and no one wants to be caught off guard. In my peripheral vision, I catch a flicker of movement and let my legs fall. My bodyguard Leo is watching from a distance, but he doesn't move closer to me because he doesn't sense any threats. Scrubbing my beard with my hand to remove the moisture, I turn my head to face the figure approaching. As I catch sight of the raven-haired woman coming toward me, my eyes widen. May I join you? Camila drops a towel by the edge of the pool and places a burlap bag on a nearby lounger. As I watch, she lifts her dark hair into a ponytail and removes her flip-flops. I nod, speechless and awestruck by the sight of her tight nipples, visible through the canary-yellow triangles pathetically supporting her breasts. A gleam of moonlight reflects off her sun-kissed skin, and my hands tingle with the desire to touch her. I swallow the saliva pooling in my slacked mouth and manage to find the words to answer. Of course. Come on in. I pat the top of the water like I'm inviting her to sit next to me on the couch. As she follows the path along the edge of the pool, a slight smile touches her lips. Her gaze is fixed on me as she sinks into the water. looking more confident than the law should allow. My hungry eyes rake over her, following the curve of her waist, the slope of her hips, before landing on the delectable cleft between her thighs. When her bathing suit touches the water and molds against her pussy, the blood in my brain rushes south and thickens my cock to ungodly proportions. I should apologize for my outburst. In a graceful motion, she glides toward me, her arms extended in front of her. You aren't catching me at my best. Am I ever going to catch you at your best? I murmur, my eyes locked in a heated gaze that makes my dick throb with anticipation. Her arms and legs move simultaneously to keep her afloat as she stops 2 feet in front of me. The first thing we should do is discuss our expectations for this marriage. I know you don't want me any more than I want you. But is there someone else you wanted to marry? Inexplicably, her words deflate my sails. It's nothing new. Our marriage is an arranged one, with no motivation to make it more than a business transaction. I avoided this meeting for months because I was afraid meeting the woman each of my rivals wants for himself would turn my hesitation into eager submission. Call me an arrogant prick, but I don't like hearing she doesn't find me attractive. I'm not exactly chopped liver. The best thing I can do is not dive into a pool of water if I don't plan on swimming. Although Camila might be a pain in the ass, she is a virgin. She may grow attached to me if we are intimate, and that will only complicate our relationship. There's no one else. My life revolves around work. I tell the truth. I date whenever I feel the need for female companionship, and I have a few on regular rotation. But I've always made it clear that I'm not interested in anything serious. The idea of love doesn't appeal to me. I don't want it. I don't give it. There is nothing more to this marriage than a means to an end. What about you? I heard you and Vito Gambino. I instantly regret asking a question when I have no desire to know the answer. What happened between her and Vito is none of my business. Technically, I shouldn't give a damn. For some reason, I do. Her nose wrinkles with irritation. Vito's insane. Not in a good way, either. We had one date, chaperoned by my brother Iago, and I gave no indication that I desired another. A week later, he showed up with an engagement ring. I'm tired of people calling me a cock tease. Girls have a right to say no. For the first time in ages, shame overtakes me. My motive for spreading that rumor was pure self-interest, and I never considered what it might do to her. Is there a good way to be insane? I ask with a laugh. She nods with authority. Crazy takes many forms. There's a difference between passion and delusion. With a nod and a kick, I push myself away from her. She's smarter than she looks. Which one are you? I'd like to believe I'm not delusional. You and I are not a love match, and I harbor no hopes of living happily ever after with you. It's best to admit that now before one of us expects more than the other is able to give. Every word that falls from her lips makes perfect sense, but there's something about her tone that annoys me. It's preempted rejection. That's fine, princess. Would you mind telling me what you do want? My smug tone conceals my disappointment. It's not a bad thing. It's important to discuss expectations and boundaries. There's no need for a volatile relationship to disturb my peace. She follows my lead and propels herself further away from me, staring coldly until she reaches the opposite side of the pool. I hope you don't expect a real marriage from me, at least until we get to know each other better. And by real, I mean conjugal, she says, her tone matter of fact, as if she has the final say on what happens. While I'm intrigued by her boldness, I'm inclined to laugh. Are you proposing an open marriage? It's a valid question. If she doesn't want to sleep with me, I won't sleep alone. If she's ready, willing, and wet, I'd prefer for her to be in my bed, but I won't take anything she doesn't give freely. Her eyebrows quirk, and she angles her head to examine my sincerity. Open marriage? Her voice echoes with excitement. Does it mean that we can see other people discreetly? There must be a compromise that makes both of us comfortable. Her glee almost uncontainable. There is no way you're fucking other men while we're married. I snarl, offended at her absurd proposal. My mind fills with visions of murder as I swim closer, nearly crashing into her. Her eyes widen as she bats her waterlogged lashes. What the hell does that mean? Do you think I'll sit at home and crochet a baby blanket for one of your bastards while you fuck other women? This is what I meant by delusional. Her mocking tone makes me bare my teeth. Kicking back, I push myself through the water to put some distance between us. I don't harm women, but I'm also not used to being challenged. Angry words emerge from my lips. I'm not the one who wants to keep this platonic. There is no way I'll allow my wife to fuck other men. If I ever catch you, I will cut out his fucking heart. Just 5 minutes ago, I was thrilled with her indifference, and now I'm fuming. Her mouth falls open as she moves angrily toward the railing to pull herself out of the water. All right, fine. Then there's no fucking way I'll allow my husband to wet his dick with other women. And you better hope I never find out. I'll kill you both and feed your bodies to my dogs. While I watch, dumbfounded, she climbs the small ladder, wiggling her ass to shake off water. Did she say she'll feed my body to her dogs? Does she plan to bring dogs? Don't stare at my ass! She screams in frustration as she wraps her towel around her torso. I want to laugh at her tantrum, but I'm too in awe of her beauty. She doesn't play fair. As she walks by the edge of the pool, I swim toward her. If I'm staying faithful, you better believe that you're putting out. If you want me to put out, then I suggest you work on your game. She scoffs in derision as she stomps away. I lick my bottom lip and keep my eyes glued to the sway of her hips until she disappears into the night. Jesus Christ, I think I'm in love. 9. Diego. How long will we have to wait? Daniel asks as he reclines in his chair and checks the time. We'll be ready for takeoff at 10:15, but we're expecting Camila to delay our departure. It's not easy leaving home. Early this morning, she packed everything she owned in 3 matching Louis Vuitton trunks. When we left the house, she was saying goodbye to her family and members of her parents' household. I should have waited for her, but she insisted we go first. It felt suspicious at the time, but after our brief conversation last night, I don't think she plans to leave me. Not yet. She seemed calm, cool, and collected, temporarily resigned to our shared fate. I'll have to keep an eye on her. There's no telling what that little girl will do. As much as I'd like to deny my curiosity, I can't. Camila genuinely intrigues me. I spent half the night tossing and turning, picturing her naked, repeating her threats, imagining fucking her unconscious and then wondering which of us will crack first. I have a feeling it's going to be me. Camila swore she wouldn't keep us waiting, and her brothers assured me she's always prompt. I groan at the mention of Iago and Dario. Those motherfuckers get on my nerves. They act like she's the Queen of Sheba, and I'm the lowly servant boy who's won the wife lottery. I chew the inside of my lip to keep my anger in check. It's a long flight, and I'd rather not be pissed the entire way. Daniel stares out the window and periodically checks his messages, probably waiting for a good morning greeting from Nadia. I roll my eyes, grateful I'm not him. Don't ever bully your wife. Men don't push around women half their size. After you're married, there will be plenty of time to boss each other around. His eyes remain focused on his phone, multitasking as he puts me in my place. And try not to forget she isn't the typical Mafia princess. Nadia was scared of her own shadow when she came to us for help. Her father browbeat her for years. He stops in the middle of his rant. So disturbed by the memory, he balls his fists and looks around for something to punch. He shakes his head to rid his mind of darker thoughts and continues. Nadia's father left her with nothing. Felipe Castro set up a substantial trust fund for Camila in New York. He's not leaving her vulnerable. If she leaves you, her father will welcome her back with open arms and sever our alliance in favor of the Russians. Don't fuck this up by stepping outside your marriage to satisfy your needs. Woo your wife or use your hand. Are you suggesting I kiss her ass? Because that isn't going to happen. She's a spoiled brat and... My bodyguard, Leo, walks onto the plane, a pair of aviators on his face and an AK-47 on his side. Boss, we've got 2 black SUVs driving across the tarmac. I think she's here. I crouch and peer through a window, scanning the area for any signs of danger before I give him the go-ahead to take my men forward to greet them. It's unlikely that Castro would back out of our deal now, but there are men all over Mexico who would love to take his entire family. Now that I'm marrying his daughter, his enemies have become mine. Camila hops down from the back seat of the first SUV, her legs too short to climb out like a normal person. She slips on a pair of sunglasses and uses her fingers to tame her wind-swept hair. As much as she pisses me off, I love looking at her. From this distance, I can admire her attributes without listening to the sass that inevitably emerges from those ruby-red lips. Her brother Dario sidles next to her and hands her a purse, keeping a much larger bag tethered to his shoulder. Before anyone emerges from the second car, they walk toward the stairs together. He takes Camila's hand and helps her onto the bottom steps, guiding her until she reaches the railing. She wobbles on her high-heeled sandals, but he wraps an arm around her waist, teasing her lovingly until she regains her balance. My eye twitches, and the beat of my heart jumps into high gear. His over-the-top attention brings forth an involuntary growl from the pit of my stomach. He may be her brother, but he's still a man with his hands all over my future wife. I feel insane, but I don't have siblings, and this type of bond is foreign to me. Do you need help? I ask, descending the stairs. Camila rolls her eyes, and Dario cocks his head to one side, his narrowed gaze ripe with judgment. Hey, dickhead, when you see my sister in need, I expect you to get off your ass and help her. She places her hand on her brother's chest and shakes her head. It's okay. He's from New York. I take immediate offense, but hold my tongue. The sooner Camila boards, the faster we can leave Mexican airspace and go home. I apologize. I just assumed you wanted time to say goodbye. That's total bullshit, but I have no excuse. I'm not used to caring for women. We come together, have a good time, then go our separate ways. I'm a total dick. Ignoring me, she reaches into her oversized purse and pulls out a teacup chihuahua, dressed in a matching white dress. I smile to myself, remembering last evening's threat. She really is batshit crazy, and a little fucking adorable. Is that the dog you plan to feed me to? I laugh, and I reach out to pet the top of its head. No. She quirks an eyebrow and hands the dog to Dario. This is my mother's dog, Chiquita Castro. She wanted to come along for the ride, but my mother will send out a search party if she doesn't report back in 30 minutes. Camila looks over her shoulder and directs my attention to the second SUV. My pups had to travel separately because as much as they love Chiquita, she doesn't care for them. Iago emerges from the back seat of the SUV, immediately followed by 2 full-grown Belgian Malinois that stand at attention, waiting for instructions to tear me apart. They marched toward the stairs, side by side, eyes trained on Camila. Say hello to Hades and Zeus, and try not to get on their bad side. I used to have a Cocker Spaniel named Luca when I was a kid. He was your father's dog, but Dante and I were the ones who took care of him. Daniel sighs, staring fondly at the killer dog snoring loudly on the couch directly in front of us. Camila is next to them, curled into the fetal position, fast asleep. We've spoken a handful of words since she boarded 2 hours ago. She had no interest in small talk or listening to Daniel's description of her temporary home. She wasn't rude, simply indifferent. These are not spaniels. My soon-to-be wife brought a pair of attack dogs to protect her from who? Me? I caress the bottle of Jack Daniels in my arms, then take a long pull, hoping the smooth amber liquid calms my growing rage. Is she afraid of me? My reputation precedes me. I'm a depraved man, a cruel, unrepentant killer who takes pleasure in destroying my enemies. Does she fucking think I'll hurt her? She has no reason to believe otherwise. I haven't had a dog around the house in years. Daniel ignores me and continues to reminisce about Luca. I'll bet Nadia will love having them around. She's been campaigning for a cat since the wedding. Which wedding? I take a cheap shot out of anger. His happiness bores me, and I enjoy needling him whenever I can. He never takes the bait. Mine. I know the law doesn't recognize it, but I do. Stop being a dick because your girl hates you. He slurs halfway into his third glass of whiskey. Camila doesn't hate me. She doesn't know me, making it impossible for me to get to know her. As soon as she settled on board, all three of them popped a sedative. Her brother Iago told me she's terrified of flying on small planes. Their father's youngest brother, their favorite uncle, died in a plane crash over Baja, California a few years ago. I take another swig and keep my eyes focused on the softness of her face, the plump pout on her lips, and the sprinkle of faded freckles dotting her nose. She's beautiful. Strange, but beautiful. Camila and I are a lot alike. This little girl wears her anger like a suit of armor, refusing to show an ounce of vulnerability, for fear someone like me will prey on a perceived weakness and twist it to their advantage. I've done the same since my father died. If you're cold to the world, no one can hurt you. No one can touch you. She shivers and tucks her hand beneath her chin, curling her body tighter in search of warmth. As much as I want to hold her, I don't think she'd be receptive to my touch. Camila may not hate me, but she sure as fuck doesn't like me. I only wish she'd let her guard down long enough for me to find out what lies beneath that perfect exterior. A loud crackle emanates from the overhead speaker as the pilot announces incoming turbulence over Florida. Daniel lifts the blind next to him, but we're too far above the clouds to see anything. Private jets fly above commercial routes to avoid routes with the highest traffic. We rarely experience turbulence severe enough to warrant an announcement. A sudden bump makes Hades and Zeus jump to attention. They stare into my eyes, and I drop my gaze, unable to deal with sudden attacks if they become frightened. I freeze and turn to Daniel for answers, like I always do. The last thing I want to do is wake Camila during the turbulence. It's better if she sleeps through it. Daniel whistles softly and pats the chair next to us, hoping they understand his directions. The two take a seat without a fuss, and Daniel secures their harnesses. Suddenly, the plane rocks and loses elevation. Although the pilot corrects it quickly, he's not quick enough. Camila bolts to a seated position, adjusting her gaze in a panicked effort to determine if the plane is crashing. "What happened?" she yelps. "What's wrong with the plane?" She struggles to her feet, nearly crashing into the console between us. Once I've caught her arm and kept her steady, I unbuckle my seatbelt and guide her forward onto my lap. Too nervous to think straight, she settles onto my thighs without arguing. There's nothing to worry about. It's just turbulence. I whisper into her dark hair and breathe in the scent of her coconut shampoo. Her hazel eyes flicker wide like a frightened deer caught in the headlights of oncoming traffic. I wrap my arms around her waist, pulling her shivering body to mine as she shakes her head in disbelief. Her warmth radiates into my limbs. Her fragrance surrounds me like a blanket, and I let the tension roll off my shoulders. For the first time since we met, she brings me peace. It feels right. The sense of loneliness, one of the few constants in my life, starts to fade as she settles her head underneath my chin and relaxes against my chest. To my surprise, I breathe a sigh of relief, and she melts into my arms. It feels like I've waited my whole life for this.
10. Camila. They're retired. I stare blankly at the woman across the table and chew a piece of bland toast. Food is horrible in this house. No flavor. Nothing tastes like it's cooked with love. I can't believe how much I miss my family after all the years I've dreamed of living in the States on my own, without my mother or brothers watching over me. Retired? Dogs retire? Nadia, Dante Serpico's wife, who just informed me she's only 3 years older than me, tries to bond with my dogs. Hades and Zeus are both suckers for the ladies. A kind word from a high-pitched voice typically makes them present their bellies, but they're tuckered out. There are so many new smells to sniff in New York. They've spent the last 3 days in constant sensory overload. I nod, then take a sip of strong coffee that might taste better with a touch of cinnamon. When I was 11, 2 men broke into my father's house to kidnap my mother and me. She wasn't home, so they dragged me out, kicking and screaming, threatening to kill me if I put up a fight. I knew they wouldn't. They were after ransom money and had to keep me alive to get it. The housekeeper tried to intervene, and they shot her. Zeus and Hades were pups, just under a year old at the time, but she may have been the one person they loved more than me. Let's just say the kidnappers didn't make it out alive. Since then, I don't go anywhere without my dogs. But their work is done. I know how to use a gun, and it's my turn to care for them. They're retired. Nadia's eyes widen as she takes small sips of tea. Kidnapped? My father tried to kidnap me after I came to live with Dante, before we married, but he didn't make it past the kitchen. Her story piques my interest, and I lean in, my ears perking higher by the second. Your father? Why would your father want to kidnap you? Were you on bad terms? She nods once, bowing her head as the terrible memory returns. My father was an ambitious man. He didn't give a damn about me. He wanted to hurt Dante and the DeLuca family. He hoped my death would start a war and allow him to benefit in the aftermath. But now he's dead, and I'm happily married to the Dawn of Dawns. Good riddance. Her cold response makes me shiver. The Dawn's perky wife has a dark side. I'm sorry for your loss. My knee-jerk reply makes her guffaw. She throws her head back and covers her maniacal laugh with her hand. I'll have to keep my eye on her.
What's so funny?
Diego's gravelly voice makes my head snap toward the swinging door. I haven't seen him since we returned from Mexico, and he's made minimal effort to communicate why. His gaze meets mine, and those pale green pools of unbridled lust peer into my soul. I think I hate him. There should be laws preventing so much handsomeness in a single package. Nothing. Nadia was reminiscing about her father's death. Nadia laughs again, and Diego's brows crease with confusion. This family is weird. Camila told me about her attempted kidnapping, and I shared my story about the night Dante killed my father. She chirps, then brushes her long hair off her shoulders.
Which one?
Diego asks Nadia, but continues to stare at me. He runs his thick fingers through his damp black hair and does his best to smooth out the mess of waves. He looks like he just stepped out of the shower. His beard looks trimmed. His bushy eyebrows appear landscaped, and I can smell the clean scent of his cologne from here. Did he do this for me? Or has he spent the last 3 days sowing his oats before the big day? And why should I care? He's nothing to me. What do you mean? She lifts the tea kettle and pours hot water into her cup, steeping the bag while she waits for his reply.
Witch kidnapping. Camila has been kidnapped more than once.
He quirks a brow, angling his head to read my expression. Oh, Jesus! How many times? Bringing up childhood nightmares to contribute to our discussion makes me squirm. This isn't a subject I care to discuss. My trauma strengthened me, but talking about it makes me feel like a 5-year-old. We're not trading emotional scars. I'm alive and well. Should it happen again, no, I'm always armed and ready to act.
Armed? Are you carrying now?
Diego's eyes flare with surprise. He steps closer, moving his head left to right, examining my figure to spot the location of my gun. I'm not sure why a man with a visible holster and 2 Glocks tucked safely underneath his jacket would care, but he's making a grand show of concern. I shake my head and smirk. It's upstairs in my purse. I didn't think I'd need to pack heat at breakfast.
You're full of surprises, aren't you?
Diego leans forward and clasps his hands on the back of my chair.
How many guns did you transport from Mexico?
2, I answer nonchalantly, unwilling to feel shame with a man who sells guns on the black market. And a few knives. I push my chair out with my legs and stand to face him. He doesn't move, and my cheek lands against his chest. I press my hand against his hard pecs to nudge him out of the way, but he feels like a brick wall, immovable and obstinate. He wraps his fingers around my wrist and then smooths his palm against the back of my hand to hold me in place. Unable to detect his motives, I tip my head back to stare up at his face. Is there a reason you came today? I didn't expect to see you until our rehearsal dinner. Sarcasm comes much easier than intimacy. It's far less likely to leave you irreparably damaged. An audible gasp makes us turn our heads in tandem to find Nadia staring slack-jawed at this pitiful attempt at flirtation. She jumps out of her chair and scampers away, waving overhead as she exits the kitchen. Don't forget Nora is taking us shopping. Diego lifts my hand to his mouth and lightly brushes his lips against my knuckles. My muscles tighten as shivers dance up my spine.
My mother is taking you shopping. Has she seen your closet?
His mouth tips into a cocky smile. Why did my parents arrange me to such a gorgeous man? I know I should feel lucky he's easy on the eyes, but this is next-level yumminess. This kind of male beauty will surely result in long nights pining for more after he makes me his shameless love slave. She thought I needed a trousseau for our honeymoon? My mouth goes dry. Honeymoon equals marital sex, and we still haven't agreed on what kind of relationship we'll have. We sparred over fidelity and straying outside our marriage. That's a big no for both of us. But does that mean we're wholly responsible for fulfilling each other's needs? That's a tall order for a virgin.
Honeymoon.
His Cheshire cat smile is rife with wicked intentions. Your mom is under the impression we are taking one, and I assumed she got that from something you said. We don't have to go anywhere. Fake weddings don't need real honeymoons. Nervous words fly out of my mouth a mile a minute. This is an uncomfortable topic to discuss just after breakfast. We need booze. His furrowed brow and narrowed gaze make me weak in the knees. He looks hot when he's angry. I'll have to remember that for later and take the necessary precautions.
We take vows in front of the bishop in 3 weeks. You better believe it's real.
I tug my hand out from his grasp and smooth a strand of hair behind my ear. I don't know why he makes me so nervous. You know what I mean. Just get back to me about the honeymoon. I know you're a busy man. I wiggle away and carry my dishes to the sink, hoping he gets the hint and sends me a text message later. This conversation is becoming too heated for my comfort zone.
How about I leave the plans to you? Tell me where you want to go, and we'll take a week. Spare no expense. This is a once-in-a-lifetime trip.
He clenches his fists, flexing and unflexing his giant mitts. It's a tic. I noticed him doing it on the plane. Anywhere? I place a finger over my lip and contemplate his proposal.
As long as there's a big bed, I'm fine with whatever you choose.
11. Camila. Taste this. You have to try it first. The rest will pale in comparison. Nora, my future mother-in-law, passes me a small plate of chocolate cake, humming with satisfaction as she finishes her bite. Oh, my lord! That's my favorite, too. Nadia licks her fork, savoring her bite before moving on to the strawberry. I've never really liked chocolate cake, I confess, taking the sample, convinced I'll hate it until the first bite makes me repent. It's the cake of my dreams. When I open my eyes, Nora's smile is inches from my face. It's delicious, isn't it? She bounces with enthusiasm. What's your favorite color? We can make the fondant in any color. Each layer can be flavored differently. I shake my head and devour the rest of my sample. No, if you give people a choice, most will choose chocolate. How could they not? Keep it simple. I think about Diego. It may be a sham wedding, but he's the groom. He deserves to enjoy the cake as much as I do. Does Diego like chocolate? I ask, outwardly cringing as the baker gives me a worried look. It's such a simple thing to know about the man I'm marrying, but I have no clue about his likes and dislikes. Nora nods, squeezing my hand, and instructs the bakery staff to bring the forms. He said to make sure you got what you wanted. And yes, he loves chocolate. But are you sure this is the one you want? It's your wedding day, so you have the final say. Where was this woman when I shopped for my wedding dress? Feeling liberated, I give the baker extra instructions for the cake. No fondant. It dries out the cake. Can we do a pink buttercream instead, with black trim and a decorative snake slithering down the layers? Nadia slaps her head and whines with regret. Why the hell didn't I think of that when I married Dante? That's going to look epic. My mother will lose her mind when she sees it, but it came to me when I saw Diego's tattoo in Mexico. Are you sure it won't look tacky? I clasp my hands and hold them against my chest, determined to get it, but still seeking approval. Nora gives me a chef's kiss. It'll look perfect. She hooks my elbow with hers and leads me to the front of the shop. Now, let's go to Fifth Avenue. I have Diego's credit card and his verbal consent to go crazy. Let's see it. Come on, hot stuff. Strut those curves. Nadia empties a glass of champagne and peeks through the velvet curtain to get a closer look. I swat her away, uncomfortable with flashing my boobs to a woman I've known for 3 days. I like her. She's kind with a sweet disposition, but I get the impression there's something she's hiding. I haven't been able to put my finger on it yet, but I suspect it has something to do with her husband. Hold on. I'm almost done, I mutter, tying the strap on a red wraparound dress. It's not my typical style, but it's hard to pass up something that fits so well. For heaven's sake, Nadia, leave her alone. She'll be out in a minute. Nora scolds her impatience from her place on the couch, sipping the complimentary champagne that comes with spending exorbitant amounts of money. I slip on my shoes and push open the drapes. I sashay into the viewing area and twirl twice, loving how the dress looks and feels. What do you think? Stunning, Nora whistles. Perfection, Nadia claps. Happy with their evaluation, I curtsy and take a flute of champagne from the gleeful saleswoman. We've been shopping for hours, and I still have no clue where I'll wear any of these clothes. How am I supposed to plan a honeymoon with a man I don't want to marry? I've considered picking somewhere unromantic, like Vegas or Disneyland, but I have a feeling Diego will find a way to make it hot. He can't help it. He's a wild mix of sex and danger. A bad boy in a $10,000 suit who smells like sandalwood and regret. Throw in those green eyes, full lips, and tatted muscles, and you've got a unique blend of catnip made just for me. My stomach rumbles loud enough for Nora to hear, and her maternal instincts rear their head. When was the last time you ate? She ate half a toast 4 hours ago. Nadia answers for me. We've got to get her some good food. I gave the housekeeper the day off, and Daniel wasn't around to make us breakfast. My ears perk. Who's Daniel? Did she mean to say Dante? Who mistakes their husband's name? Nadia's eyes grow as wide as saucers, but she quickly recovers and slams the rest of her champagne. You'll meet him soon. I'll let Diego explain everything to you. My brow furrows, and I ping-pong my narrowed gaze between Nora and Nadia, wondering what I'm missing. Diego will explain? Explain what? Nora smiles as she leads me back into the fitting room, shifting gears by appealing to my stomach. Let's get something to eat. I know a great Mexican restaurant in Hell's Kitchen, not too far from here. The best ones are in the Bronx, but that's too far away. I can tell you're homesick, and nothing cures those blues like good food. Their pozole is to die for. Pozole? Really? My hungry heart soars. I haven't had a good meal since I arrived. I never lie about food.
12. Diego. Are you listening to me? Is he listening to me? Dante snaps his fingers, directing his questions to me and then to Daniel. I hear him, but I'm too distracted to care. Why the hell hasn't she answered my text? It's been over an hour and she's yet to respond. Diego's in love. He's had his head in the clouds for days. Daniel smirks, staring down at me from his place by the door. He's back to business as usual. When he's not pretending to be his twin, he prefers to keep to the shadows, only emerging to bust heads or sleep with his wife. Taking a deep breath, Dante rubs his forehead, his features flushed with dread. Please tell me he hasn't fallen in love with someone who is not his fiancée. Nah, he's got it bad for Camila. He just won't admit it. Fuck off. I have Massimo De Luca stirring trouble in Tribeca, Vasily Volkov trying to take over what little territory we control in Brooklyn, and Vito Gambino busting my chops acting like I stole his girl. Camila is the last thing on my mind. That's a half-truth. Massimo, Voss, and Vito are annoying the fuck out of me, but not nearly as much as Camila. After 15 grand in credit charges, the least she can do is reply to my fucking text. Daniel wanders to the far end of Dante's office to peruse his brother's high-end liquors. After examining the labels, he chooses the Macallan single malt whiskey, pouring the amber liquid into 3 glasses. Nadia speaks well of Camila. She doesn't detect an ounce of the crazy you insist flows through her veins. Dante pushes back from his desk and ambles to one side to sit on the edge. He takes a drink from Daniel, and both stare at me, mirrored images of presumption, expecting me to retract my previous contention because their wife disagrees. Why don't you admit we chose well for you? That remains to be seen. We've hardly spent any time together since returning from Mexico. I shrug and shift my gaze toward my vibrating phone. One message. That might be her. But I don't want to look overzealous in front of my uncles. I have no idea what kind of relationship we'll have, and no one gives a damn either way. Our marriage isn't supposed to be an epic love story. If the money rolls in, it's considered a success. And whose fault is that? Have you taken your fiancée on a real date? You complain about not knowing her, yet today was the first time you visited the house? I clench my fist around the crystal tumbler of whiskey and swirl the contents, mesmerized by the color and its similarity to Camila's honey-colored eyes. She's too beautiful for her own good. Too beautiful to be my wife. This was supposed to be a marriage of convenience on both sides, but it feels like I'm the only fool wanting more. My mind spins with pornographic fantasies. My hands on her breasts, suckling, licking, sliding my cock back and forth through her tight cleavage. I'd work my way down her chest, nibbling her freckled, sun-kissed flesh before sliding my hands beneath the round, firm globes of her ass to use it as leverage. She'd feign embarrassment, blushing as her body writhes with expectation, and I wouldn't make her wait long. One long lick down the seam of her wet pussy would silence her pathetic protest and give way to the sweet song of ecstasy. She's so fucking hot. I bet she'll look incredible coming on my tongue. More finger-snapping jolts me out of my trance. My annoyance builds. Hey, dickhead! You never finished telling us what's going on with Massimo. Leo said you found him trolling around the meatpacking district, threatening some of our people. Did you take care of it? Glancing upward, I glower. It's a ridiculous question meant to prolong this conversation. Of course I took care of it. I left his father a message and issued an official warning about his encroachments. If he doesn't control his ambitions, I promise to move into his territory one block at a time. Late last night, just after his latest offense, I posted a few men outside his building to track his movements. I'm unsure what he's planning, but he's clearly trying to drag us into an all-out war. Dante's expression sobers. We'll make the rounds today and check in with the businesses who pay us tribute. Send your men to Tribeca, and I'll ask my capos to check on Soho and the village. Uptown is too risky for him. I don't think he'll have the balls to try. When my phone vibrates again, I nod, struggling to stay focused. Dante and Daniel talk amongst themselves, and I take the opportunity to check my phone, wondering if either message belongs to Camila. The first message is from one of my men. DeLuca is on the move and loitering near Soho, but he hasn't made a move on any of our businesses. I scroll to the following message and feel my lips tip into a slow grin. Camila. Sorry, I just saw your message. I'm having a late lunch with Nadia and your mom. Me. Have you decided where you want to go? Camila. Go? What do you mean? I groan, tired of playing games when my cock is digging into my zipper. Me. We have dinner reservations at 8. I'll pick you up at 7:45. Make sure you run a brush through your hair. Camila. If there's time, try not to wear too much cologne. A sigh escapes my lips as I stab at my phone, typing and erasing messages that sound too lame to send. She's such a pain in the ass, but I have an irritating desire to make her happy. Giving a damn about another person's feelings is new territory for me. Although it's not a bad idea to start with the woman I plan to marry. Me. See you tonight. Dante clears his throat. What are you doing, champ? Sending texts to your little girlfriend? I better go. You two are getting on my nerves.
13. Camila.
You look beautiful. Red becomes you.
My heart skips a beat as I stare helplessly into the piercing gaze of the man I'm going to marry. There are so many things I want to say, ask, and do, but I don't have a clue where to begin. I should thank you. I swallow hard and avert my eyes, uncomfortable with his attention. It's our first formal date, and the first time alone with a man without a chaperone. You can't succumb to a man's charms when your two older brothers linger nearby with guns on their hips, waiting for possible shenanigans. I feel childish and naive, incapable of contributing anything but sarcasm or snark. How do girls handle these situations? No one ever gave me a handbook on managing men.
Why would you thank me?
He cocks his head, his eyes narrowed with curiosity. I place a hand over my heart to hide the flush spreading across my chest. My face feels so hot, I swear it's on fire. You bought it for me? This is one of the dresses I bought on today's shopping spree.
It's my pleasure, and it was worth every penny.
His lips twitch in a slight smile, but he hides it, unwilling to reveal even a hint of happiness. Why would he hide it? The evening is already going better than I expected. We made a pact on the ride here to behave ourselves, and stayed true to it. I aim for my glass of Chardonnay and hope it's as powerful as it tastes. I'm in desperate need of liquid courage. I was relieved when no one asked for my identification. In Mexico, the drinking age is 18, and now that I'm finally eligible, the United States has added 3 years. Fortunately, no one questions a member of the Serpico family. If I ask you a question, will you answer honestly? I clear my throat and search for words that aren't accusatory. He nods once.
Shoot. I'll answer if I can.
I know this sounds absurd, but does your Uncle Dante have a twin? I mutter, mortified that I might ask such a silly question. He's the Don of Dons of New York. People would surely know if he had a twin.
Why do you ask? Have you seen them wearing different clothes just minutes apart? They're too preoccupied with other things and don't think people notice the small things. It's an amateur move.
He takes a generous sip of whiskey, and his lips tighten into a smug grin. I'm right? They're twins? My eyes shoot out of my head. But I've seen them both with Nadia. Does she know? Do they know? What am I missing? This makes no sense. I've spotted them minutes apart, dressed in different clothes, canoodling with Dante's wife. His pale green eyes glimmer with amusement.
Don't stress yourself trying to figure out the dynamics. But it's better to know so they can quit hiding in their own house. Most people believe Daniel died shortly after my father. My grandfather feared someone was out to finish off the whole family and sent him to live in Sicily. He returned years later, but kept to himself, filling in as Dante in dangerous situations, since he's the more expendable of the two.
I balk, stunned by his callous reply. Expendable?
No, that's not what I mean. While Dante is the Don, everyone prefers Daniel, even Zeus and Hades, perhaps even Nadia.
And how does that work? Twins and one woman? My eyes grow wide, my fascination increasing by the second. I don't think I'd like to be shared, I state matter-of-factly, still lost in thought over the logistics of Nadia's marriage. Where does she find the time to satisfy 2 men? Diego leans back into his chair, crossing his arms over his broad chest as he stares down at me, unamused by my off-the-cuff comment.
The thought is incomprehensible to me.
He shakes his head as if the image it conjures is too distasteful to contemplate.
And that's not something you ever need to worry about. I don't share.
I settle into my chair and use my fork to push the food on my plate. I'm too titillated to eat. What does one woman do with 2 men? I've seen enough dirty movies to understand how much fun you can have with one, but I must have skipped over the films that involved threesomes. Hats off to Nadia. I'll bet she takes B12 shots.
I have something for you.
Diego slips his hand into the inner pocket of his suit jacket and produces a tiny red box. He gently places it on the table and slides it toward my side. His eyes meet mine, and I'm suddenly overcome by the gravity of the moment. What's this? I understand what it is, but I have no idea what to say. We're engaged. Invitations have been sent, and the cake has been ordered. I knew we'd exchange rings at the church, but I'm not sure I expected an engagement ring or proposal. Is this a proposal?
We marry in 3 weeks. You should wear my ring.
He stops to correct his words.
I want you to wear my ring.
With trembling hands, I reach for the box and crack it open. The air leaves my lungs and renders me speechless. It's stunning. a platinum band set with a perfect oval-cut diamond solitaire surrounded by brilliant-cut pave diamonds. I couldn't have picked a lovelier ring if I'd chosen it myself. When did you buy this? My eyes brim with tears as I'm caught up in the sentimentality of the gesture.
Today. I know you're accustomed to nice things, Camila.
He takes the ring out of the box, examines it momentarily, then slides it onto my left finger. He's gentle, but nervous.
I don't want you to feel deprived of anything.
His hand trembles, but his gaze remains fixed on me.
My wife shouldn't lack for anything.
I sink my teeth into my bottom lip as my cheeks spread into a joyful grin. Last week was one of the worst of my life. I was forced to leave my family and home and gave up my dream of finding true love. The new wardrobe and ring don't make up for it, but my heart feels lighter with hope for the first time in months. And that scares the hell out of me. We are nothing to each other, and people who don't care about each other inevitably hurt each other. In my life, I have never loved anyone except my family. What if I can't meet his expectations? What if he never tries to meet mine? What are we going to do, Diego? The words emerge without thought. I know we're not in love. We may never fall in love. But I need to know we won't live a life consumed by bitterness and hate. I need to know we'll try to get along. He leans forward and rests his elbows on the table, giving me his undivided attention.
What are we going to do about what?
What kind of marriage will this be? I know we've gotten off to a bad start, and I don't expect to fall in love, but I don't want to hate you. I was raised by parents who love each other deeply. If I can't have a happily ever after, I'd like to believe you and I can be friends and partners. I exhale sharply as the emotion settling in my heart boils over. Displays of tenderness only confuse me. He might think I'm young and dumb. Diego Serpico may only view me as an ornament and baby factory. But whatever it is, it's best to temper my expectations. My hands shake, but I don't realize how obvious it is until he extends his arms and covers them with his giant palms. The warmth of his touch instantly calms my racing heartbeat. He drives me crazy, but he's somehow become the antidote to my sadness.
We'll be what we decide to be.
He ducks his head, lifts his eyes, and stares into my soul. At least, that's what it feels like.
That's a bullshit answer, but I promise I'm trying to figure it out. I like you more than I imagined, more than I believed I could care for anyone. I don't want to settle for friendship or a marriage of convenience. There's a possibility we could have more. At least shoot for something bigger. Right now, looking at you in that fucking red dress, wearing my ring, and 3 weeks from becoming my wife, I don't think it will be as hard as we've made it.
For one brief moment, my weary heart flutters, and I let myself believe we can be real.
14. Diego. Like Camila, my mother traveled from Mexico at 18 to marry for the purpose of securing an alliance with my family. It was meant to be a marriage of convenience. No one cared if they fell in love, as long as they had an heir to carry on the family line. Still, they overcame the odds. For my dad, it was love at first sight. It took a while for my mother to return his love, but she eventually did. They lived happily for 10 blissful years, and the Serpico family enjoyed a lucrative alliance with their father's cartel. Unfortunately, that partnership disintegrated shortly after my father's death, and there was no hope of securing another until Felipe Castro took control of the Holy Death. That's why our marriage is so important. We have the chance to regain everything we lost. Except, of course, my dad. That part is gone forever. My memory of him has faded over time. I have random flashbacks of a man with my eyes and a voice like my uncle's. but I wish I knew more. Growing up, people rarely spoke of him. The death of my grandfather's golden boy left a wound too deep to heal or revisit. The family seldom brought up the name Vincenzo Serpico, unless it was a birthday or the anniversary of his death. But my mother would, and one of her fondest memories was the nights he'd take her dancing. "What kind of club is this?" Camila asks, taking my hand as we get out of the car. Her hazel eyes are wide with wonder as the rhythmic thumping bass reverberates through the metal doors. The beefy bouncer guarding the long line behind the velvet rope doesn't bother asking for our identification. He tips his head with respect and lets us pass, circumventing security and the metal detectors our co-owners recently installed. It was a good move. You never know what kind of riffraff plans to start trouble in a place like this, and I want to protect my family's investment. You're about to find out. I chuckle and guide us forward. The dark path is illuminated by the flickering lights at the end of the hall. I hold her close, leading her with my body, following the screams of horns and stepping in time with the raucous drumbeat of Latin music. Camila's shoulders sway back and forth as she tiptoes through the metal chain curtain, her full breasts jiggling as she loses herself to the familiar rhythm. This is the girl I've been longing to meet. Walls down and mind open to possibilities. I want to know the real Camila Castro, the girl I'll hold in my arms and my bed, writhing in ecstasy as her pussy pulsates around my cock. I want to see her vulnerable and submissive, trusting me to care for her needs. One step at a time. The road to conquering her heart won't be easy. We glide forward, my hand on the small of her back, protecting what's mine as we pass the bar toward the dance floor. Heads turn in our direction, every heterosexual man within punching distance devouring the sight of my soon-to-be wife. My pulse quickens, and I shoot each one of those motherfuckers a deadly glance that makes them avert their eyes and pray to whatever god they worship that they'll make it out of here alive. She looks over her shoulder, her bottom lip pinned between her teeth. "Can you dance?" I nod and extend my arm, waiting patiently until she walks her fingers into the palm of my hand. I can dance. I spin her clockwise, then counterclockwise, allowing her to fall into my arms. When she lands, I snake my arm around her waist and press her to my chest. A new song begins. Colored lights flash across the stage, and slow-moving dry ice floats within the writhing bodies of frenzied dancers. I sweep us onto the dance floor, spinning her under my arm until we land in position. I weave my fingers in hers, clutching her hand tightly against my chest as tiny sparks of electric currents jolt us into motion. "Wow," she whispers, holding my gaze as I fall into the endless depths of her honey eyes, my heart clenching violently, as if it's beating for the first time. We're just getting started. My jaw tightens as my throbbing cock brushes against her abdomen, and my heated gaze lands on her quivering lips, parted as she struggles to take a deep breath of air. My arm winds around her back and rests on her shoulder blade as our bodies move in time to the beat of the music, sliding seamlessly back and forth, forward and backward, until our feet move on their own. I twirl her under my arm, spinning, catching her close, dipping so deep she clings to my shoulders and pulls herself up until our faces are inches apart. My lips land on hers, an involuntary act she surprisingly welcomes as our mouths melt into a sweltering kiss that sets my body on fire. My hands drop and mold to the round swells of her luscious ass, kneading her flesh. We crash again and again, our lips locked, tongues entwined, suckling, consuming, and finally succumbing to our escalating desires. Is this love? It feels bigger than lust, and so much more than a temporary infatuation. I'm so lost in the moment, I don't take notice of our surroundings. A deadly error for someone in my position, but I'm too fucking turned on to care. I need to be alone with you, Camila. Mi alma. My soul. It's not a term of endearment I ever thought I'd utter, but it feels perfect for her. She does feel like the other half of my soul. The good side. The part I lost after my father died. I lead her to the edge of the floor, hands clasped, eager to continue what we started in a quieter place, away from prying eyes. The taste of her kiss lingers on my lips, a new simmering addiction that needs to be sated. Come home with me tonight. We don't have to do anything you're not ready for, but I want you all to myself, alone in the dark, where I can hold you a little longer. I don't recognize the words coming out of my mouth, and by the look on her face, neither does she. But a smile appears, and my world slows for a fraction of a second as I take in the beautiful woman that awakened my dead heart. She places her hand on my chest, and I mold her body against mine, grinding my stiff cock into her belly, confessing my need for her without saying a word. Camila stares at me from under her dark lashes, blinking nervously as she steadies her breath long enough to speak. Will you wait for me here while I go to the ladies' room? I need to wipe the sweat off my face. Her cheeks heat with embarrassment, and my dick grows harder. I can't believe I fought against this match, when all I want to do is watch her naked body flush crimson in the afterglow of countless orgasms. I pull her into my embrace and run my tongue along the side of her neck. Don't bother with that. I'll lick it all off. She giggles and presses her hands against my chest, launching herself out of my arms. Down, boy. I'll be right back. I watch her walk away, my eyes roaming freely over every inch of her hot little body, counting the seconds until she returns. Fucking hell. How the hell did I land in this position? And why do I never want to find my way out? My lusty trance lasts less than a minute when a gruff voice rips me out of my daze. Leo hovers nearby and leans in, near my ear, the loud music making it almost impossible to hear him.
Boss, Massimo DeLuca arrived minutes after you. He followed you here, and he's got Julia with him. She does not look happy.
15. Camila. An easy smile plays on my lips as I glance at my reflection and wipe my sweaty brow with a napkin. We kissed. Diego finally swept me into his arms, pressed his mouth to mine, and stole a blistering kiss that tingled all the way to my toes. It was masculine, commanding, and so damn hot. My cheeks burn with embarrassment. I've never experienced anything like that before. Even now, I can't believe how tightly his hands clung to my waist and how hard his chest pressed against my breasts. In no way did I protest or push him away. I wanted him. I needed to feel his fingers dance over my nipples, pinching them, using his mouth, his tongue, anything to scratch the itch he created the first time I saw him in the flesh. When he ground his stiff cock, so hard and big, against my tummy, I thought I'd faint. I wanted to shout his name and beg him to let me see it. Not here. Not now. But soon. As I press my hand against my stomach, I swear I can still feel the pressure, like a phantom limb. And this is only the beginning. From the look in his eyes, it's clear he's looking forward to using it soon. My body hums with anticipation. This is only my third day away from my parents' home, and I'm already kissing strange men on hot dance floors and fantasizing about what comes next. But he's not a strange man. Diego's my fiancé. He's the man who gave me his ring and expects me to meet him at St. Teresa's Cathedral in 3 weeks, wearing a white dress and veil. It doesn't sound naughty when I put things in perspective. I drop my gaze to the massive diamond sitting pretty on my left hand and watch it sparkle under the light. I'm unsure how I feel about him, but fate hasn't necessarily been unkind. He's tall, dark, handsome, rich, powerful, dangerous, ripped, and hot as fuck. Why am I fighting the inevitable when the future looks as good as him? A look of confusion crosses my face as I peer into the mirror and pout. Doubt consumes me. I always think I know best, as if 18 years of absolutely no life experience makes me an expert. My mother warned me about this character flaw, one of many I chose not to correct. Despite my best efforts, I still believe that ignoring my feelings will make them magically disappear. It's never worked in the past, so why do I keep thinking I can control the pull of my heart? I know nothing about men, love, or sex, but there's no mistaking the warm flush on my skin, the tightness in my belly, or the moisture pooling in my panties. A new stream of women enters the restroom, and I realize I've been contemplating my newfound sexual desire for far too long. Diego promised he would wait outside the door, but it's taken me so long, people may accuse him of being a creep. Grateful for his patience, I fluff my hair, wash my hands, and push open the door with my ass. Diego isn't where I left him, but that's understandable. No doubt the long line made him uncomfortable, so he moved his gorgeous ass to the nearby hall, closer to the men's room. I scan my surroundings and tiptoe past a gang of girls with impatient expressions, searching the crowd for any sign of the man who swore he wouldn't go far. His agitated voice grabs my attention, and I follow the sound into a narrow hallway. It's almost impossible to miss his impressive stature, but as I get closer, I see he's not alone. There's a tall, blonde woman in a revealing white dress, yelling and calling him names, reminding him of the promises he made the last time they fucked. What am I hearing? Who is she? While her narrative is vulgar and crude, he only denies the promise, not the salacious acts she unnecessarily describes. Apparently, they were lovers and only recently parted ways. My heart stings with sorrow. He must have loved her before his uncle and my father negotiated our engagement. Why did he agree to marry me if there was someone else? Other men might have chosen the woman they love, but Diego's ambitious. Nothing is more important to him than leading the Serpicos. Not her, and certainly not me. They're too engrossed in their conversation to notice me, and as much as I want to punch her lights out and kick him in the nuts, I refuse to involve myself in their lovers' quarrel. With careful steps, I move against the wall and stick to the shadows, hoping to get away before they see me. She accuses him of using her. He accuses her of stalking him and jeopardizing his marriage. When she uses derogatory words to describe me, claiming he'll seek her out after we take vows, he cuts her off with a growl, threatening to kill her if she says another word. Too wounded to listen, I move faster, needing to distance myself from their hateful words. In my haste, I slam into Leo and draw Diego's attention away from his ex. She turns in time to see my horrified face and mocks my pain with laughter. "Oh no, your poor little virgin heard all about the dirty things we did. Do you really think she'll make you happy? I know all about your appetites, and there's no way she'll be able to satisfy you as much as I did." She leans into him, grabs his lapels, and seals her lips to his. I don't wait to see more. I shield my face and run into the crowd. Tears make it hard to walk and impossible to see where I'm going, but that doesn't stop me. My breathing labors, but I keep moving, covering my shattering heart with my hand for fear it will fly out of my chest. Tonight was a mistake. Trusting Diego with my heart and putting faith in his words turned out to be the biggest joke. Dinner, dancing, and a giant diamond would make any girl swoon. Since I'm nothing but a silly virgin with no experience, of course I fell for his charm.
Camila!
I hear Diego's gravelly voice a few feet behind me, but I keep running. There's nothing to explain. He can't control what another woman says, and I heard him try to defend me, but that doesn't mean none of it happened. I never expected him to be a virgin. He's 8 years older than me and fucking breathtaking. There was never any doubt that he'd been with tons of women. But I didn't need to hear about it. How will I ever rip those words from my mind? I wipe my salty tears and weave through the thick herd of bodies. He can't see me like this. It's too pathetic. The last thing I want is for him to see me in this state.
Camila, you better stop running,
he shouts again, his voice splintering with emotion as he calls his men to block me from the exit. But that doesn't deter me. Ignoring his shouts, I duck into a dense crowd leaving the club. No way will I let Diego Serpico see me cry.
16. Diego. Don't ever fucking run from me. I shove her into the back seat of my Range Rover and crawl in behind her, trying desperately to get a hold of my rage before I eviscerate every ounce of progress we've made. She scoots to the far end of the leather seat and stares out a window too foggy with condensation to see through. She doesn't care what's on the other side. Anything is better than looking at me. She's shown her anger toward me before, but this time is different. She's not being a brat or throwing a tantrum. Her tears are genuine. Her sadness and disappointment are so palpable, they thicken the air and make it hard to breathe. Things were progressing so well. I won't let my past ruin everything before we've had a chance to make this work. Fucking Julia. She's always had the worst fucking timing. In what goddamn universe did she believe any of that shit would work in her favor? I don't think she cared if it did. Misery loves company, and she assumed we were in the same boat. Her father wants to marry her off to Vito Gambino, and she probably believed I shared her feelings about our arranged marriages. Until 3 days ago, I thought I did. She saw us dancing, kissing, my hands on Camila's body and the ring on her finger. Julia has always been a little unstable, but watching me with my future wife pushed her over the fucking edge. I should have realized she'd lash out, but I never expected her to threaten my wife. I don't care if she's a woman. If she comes after what's mine, I'll eliminate her. Julia was nothing more than a bit of fun when I was going through a rough time. We had an understanding. Our family's tenuous alliance stood in the way of anything deeper, which suited me fine. Our dalliance served a purpose for both of us. Where the fuck does she get off accusing me of cheating on her with the woman I'm weeks from marrying? I wipe my hand across my lips and stain my knuckles with hot pink lipstick. The taste of her cigarette remains. I'm so disgusted I want to wash my mouth out with soap and sanitize with strong vodka. Or what? Camila finally speaks, her voice trembling as she hugs her shoulders, chilly from the insane amount of cool air blowing into the back seat. Despite the sweat pouring from my brow and Leo's, I instruct him to raise the temperature. What? I don't understand what she's saying. You said I couldn't run from you. And I'm asking, or what? What will you do? Her cold tone makes me feel worse. She has a right to be angry, even if I couldn't help what happened. I'm unsure how to answer her question. She's right. I can punish her, lock her in her room and beg her forgiveness, but I can't force her to do anything for long. Her brother, Iago, calls daily without fail. If he can't reach her, he immediately checks in with Nadia. They've spoken so much this past week, she's already invited him to afternoon tea when the family arrives in town for the wedding. He's a fucking lunatic, but she swears he's a sweetheart because he taught her the best way to make a fizzy paloma and recommended she sweat her peppers after roasting them. Apparently, That's all it takes for the deadliest enforcer of the Holy Death to win her over. If Camila doesn't check in with him, he'll jump on a plane and be here in hours. You don't want to find out. I'm so full of shit, and she knows it. Even if we were husband and wife, my uncles would never risk a war with Felipe Castro. But that reality doesn't sit well with me. I've already lost 3 days trying to get her off my mind and failed miserably. That was before we kissed, and I saw the lust simmering behind her amber eyes. We've only just scratched the surface. What will I give tomorrow? And the day after that? I groan, pissed at her, and twice as furious with myself. This is precisely why I didn't want to meet her. One look at her photograph, and I knew she'd make me soft, fight for the wrong things. I want to go back to Mexico. There's no shame in admitting this was a mistake. I suspect you have feelings for that woman, and you'll betray me and our marriage sooner or later. You'll grow bored and return to a more comfortable bed. Her words hang between us like a murder of crows preparing to pick apart a carcass. She's so used to getting her way, she thinks I'll cave to her demands. No, absolutely not. I crowd her, sliding closer until my thigh lies parallel to hers. I forcibly take her hand, and her head snaps up, her tear-stained face and pouty lips ripping me in two. She blinks, fluttering her lashes to battle the moisture lining her eyes, but it doesn't work. Tears slide down her pink cheeks, and the anger crowding my chest washes away. I can go if I want. The only thing I need to do is call my parents and tell them that you have a girlfriend. They'll be on the next plane here. We tried, and this isn't going to work. Camila tries to tear her hand from mine, but I hold it steady, refusing to let her go for fear I'll lose her forever. I apologize for what you saw and heard. I tried to make her leave before you returned, but it's impossible to shut her up once she gets going. That was Julia DeLuca. She's not my girlfriend or ex or anything like that. We haven't been together in over a year, and that's not what I want. She's not who I want. I'm so eager to clear my name that my words come out in a rush, jumbled and nonsensical. I wait for them to sink in, but the scowl on her deepens. Her voice cracks with tears. But she wasn't wrong. You did those things with her, and you must have enjoyed them so much that you kept returning for more. I look away, angry at myself, but slightly amused by her jealousy. Considering what Julia said, she's taking it much better than I would. Like a referee calling a timeout, I hold one hand out and try to defuse the situation. Are you jealous? I've never been good at de-escalating someone's anger. Camila releases an audible gasp and shakes her hand loose from mine. How dare you? Why would I get jealous over a man who screwed half of New York? I'd never get anything done if I bothered to care about your one-night stands or friends with benefits. I may be inexperienced, and maybe I'll never hold a candle to that whore on wheels, but we won't have to find out anyway. She spots Dante's home a block away and unbuckles her seatbelt. I think you meant bitch on wheels, I correct her, adding fuel to the fire. I stand by my translation. Goodbye, Diego. It hasn't been fun. She lifts her chin with defiance and jiggles the handle, hoping to make a grand exit to put me in my place. The metal lever pops in her hand, but the door remains closed. I said, no. I exit my side and quickly close the door, leaving her inside at the mercy of child-restrictive locks until I walk around the car and open her side. What do you mean, no? She slaps away my offered hand and hops out, smoothing the front of her dress to cover her exposed thighs. I get an eyeful nonetheless. I'm not playing games with you. I gave us a shot, and it bit me in the ass. Camila storms up the driveway, fists clenched at her sides, certain she's put me in my place. I catch up quickly. Her short legs are no match for mine. You've been here 3 days and allowed a woman I'm no longer seeing to come between us because of something out of my control. I know it was wrong and shitty to hear, but you know I'm not a virgin. I've been with women, not half of New York, but you're the only one I want, the last woman I'll ever want. She shakes her stubborn head and rings the doorbell. No, I'm done with you. You'll only make me regret giving you my heart. I'll wind up like that woman watching you kiss other girls on the dance floor. No, thank you. Please go before I call my dogs. I've had enough of this. Eager to put this to rest, and annoyed we've lost our chance to spend the night together, I catch her waist and pin her body to mine. I crash my lips into her pouty mouth and make her open for me. She attempts to push me away, but I deepen our kiss, and her delicate fingers dig into my lapels and pull me closer. There is no space between us. She moans, swirling her tongue, searing her hot lips into my hungry mouth as I devour each breath, consume every whisper, and mold her sweet body against mine. I won't let you leave. I don't think I can bear to be without you anymore. I whisper into her mouth and then rest my forehead against hers. You can't go. You will marry me. I can go where I please. She comes out of her daze and returns to her sass. You don't own me, Diego Serpico. That's where you're wrong, baby girl. You are mine.
17. Camila.
I'm always on your side, but you know you overreacted.
My brother Iago walks beside me and holds Zeus's leash, peering over his shoulder every 30 seconds to ensure his men are close. He arrived early this morning, not because I asked him to come. I didn't breathe a word about Julia DeLuca or my fight with Diego until he arrived. Iago can't shake his overprotective nature, and since he knows me better than anyone else, he could tell I wasn't myself. Apparently, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. He sensed something was wrong over the phone, then waited to see if I'd shake it off. After 4 days, he made an excuse to pay me a visit. You wouldn't understand. As much as I love having him here, I don't appreciate a habitual overreactor calling me out.
Try me,
he grunts, a hint of judgment laced in his reply. I felt embarrassed. The woman had her hands all over him, touching him, kissing him, reminding him of the nasty things they had done and how much he enjoyed fucking her. I rasp, struggling to speak with a throat full of bile. Diego and I haven't spoken in 2 days, and I've ignored most of his texts, only responding when he threatened to break into my bedroom window and check on me in person. He's such a bully.
You haven't taken off his ring.
My brother lifts my hand and squints, examining the rock on my finger. I snatch my hand back when I spot a chihuahua strutting her stuff down the opposite side of the street. She looks too much like Chiquita, and I can tell by Hades' whining that he wants to cross the busy street to say hello. I hold his leash tighter and instruct Iago to do the same. They're well-trained boys who never disobey commands, but both have a sweet spot for Chiquita. It's not like that. He's following me. 2 days ago, I accompanied Nadia and Nora to brunch to discuss details concerning the photographer. I was right in the middle of scarfing down a stack of Nutella pancakes when I received an irate message demanding I take my ring out of my purse and put it back on my finger. Confused and annoyed, I shake my head and direct my brother toward a patch of grass. The dogs are taking their sweet time doing their business, and I have a feeling I'm being watched. That freak not only knew I removed my ring, but he knew I stashed it in my wallet. I look from side to side, narrowing my gaze in search of his current position. He may be watching us now. Iago shrugs.
He's sitting in the driver's seat of the black Maserati parked by the bodega. He's wearing sunglasses, but I can see the fucking tattoos on his hands from here.
I unravel a doggy bag, and Iago takes it, saving me from handling my dog's massive poops on my own. I use my hand to cover my eyes from the sun and stare directly into the face of the strangest man I've ever met. He doesn't hide his lunacy, but continues to stare. He's insane.
You can't do what we do without being a little nuts.
Iago takes the leash from my hand and nudges me forward.
Why don't you go over and talk to him? Go for a drive and hear what he has to say. I know you like.
Allow yourself a moment of stillness, where time slows and the world feels gentle for just a breath.
Like him. It's fucking obvious.
I know he's right. Despite my best efforts to push Diego out of my mind, that hateful man is living rent-free in my lovesick brain. It's unnerving how quickly he got under my skin. With reluctant steps, I amble across the empty crosswalk and head toward his car. He steps out and slips the sunglasses off his face, a slight smile forming on his lips. I walk slowly and drink in the sight of his sculpted chest and chiseled arms, so taut and yummy they threaten to bust through the fabric of his gray suit. He's hot, and he knows it. Why did my parents choose such an insufferable man? With one crosswalk left to reach him, the swarm of butterflies wreaking havoc in my belly brings a nervous smile to my face. I offer a silly wave, and he heads in my direction with a kick in his step, confident all has been forgiven. I pick up the pace, excited to touch him, until the sound of screeching tires makes me freeze. In the distance, I hear my brother's voice as Hades and Zeus lose their minds, barking, growling, and choking on their restraints. Diego reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out his gun, screaming at me to head back to the other side of the street. I can't see where the noise is coming from. There are too many cars, too many people, and too many dogs barking in my ears. An engine revs, and bullets fly over my head. I duck down and scramble toward a parked car, but someone clasps my wrist, wrenching it so hard I cry out in pain. Diego walks toward us like a villain in a movie, arm extended as he shoots him, striking the kidnapper's chest, but not killing him. The scruffy man grunts and barrels over in pain, shoving me in front to use me as a shield. That's when Iago unleashes my dogs. It happens so fast. Everything feels like a blur of brown fur, bared teeth, skittering paws, and an incredible amount of drool. Hades scales a line of parked cars, lands on the assailant's chest, and sinks his canines into his forearm to keep him from reaching for his gun. Zeus comes in seconds behind his brother, bounces off the closed door of my favorite coffee shop, and flies into the stunned face of a second kidnapper who'd been hiding nearby. As tourists scream and the sound of sirens grow closer, Diego lifts me into his arms and walks the short distance to Dante's building, bypassing security with nothing but a loud grunt. Iago follows with Hades and Zeus, praising them and wiping their bloody mouths with the shirt off his back. It wasn't pretty, and it wasn't their best work. But, like I said, they're retired.
18. Diego.
The DeLuca family denies any involvement. I already threatened to murder everyone with that name, and none will budge. After slipping the jacket from his arms, Daniel hangs it on the back of his chair and strides toward the floor-to-ceiling window. Deep in thought, he stares at the dimly lit New York skyline and sighs. I don't think it was them. Dante steeples his fingers under his chin and stares at Iago, justifiably suspicious that the attempted kidnapping happened hours after his arrival. Do you have any idea if they were after her or after you? His expression hardens as he glares at me. I don't know, but whoever they were had a tattoo just like that. I point to the ornate skull tattoo on Iago's neck, remembering how it curved down the slope and stretched onto his shoulder. I was too preoccupied with Camila to get a closer look, but it looked almost identical. It wasn't like this one. Iago moves his collar to one side to give everyone a better view. I saw his tat and shot a photo of it on my phone before we returned to the penthouse. It looks similar, but the only men with this are couples with the Holy Death. They're all done by the same artist operating out of Mexico City. And when I sent her the photo, she confirmed it was fake. If I had to guess, someone from a rival cartel wants to make it look like my father would put a hit out on his own daughter. He seethes, his voice gruff and stern. My father is not a good man. None of us here are good men. I don't agree with much of what he's done, including sending my sister here. But he wouldn't kill her. Her loss would destroy him. He turns to me with a sympathetic eye. I'll say goodbye to Mila and head out. My father wants me to return to Mexico and help discover who's behind this bullshit. He's not revealing everything he knows. Something behind his eyes makes me believe he's withholding critical information. What are you not telling us? I ask, keeping my tone more curious than accusatory. Iago keeps his gaze fixed on Hades and Zeus, standing at attention at the top of the stairs. I assume you've developed feelings for my sister. I had no doubt that you would. Camila may come off as a pain in the ass, but that's just the defense mechanism she employs. If you can't get too close, you can't hurt her, and she'd rather keep people at arm's length than face the pain of rejection. I'm realizing that about her,
and I'm more than familiar with the technique. I've used it for over a decade. People can't hurt what they can't touch. It's strange talking to you about your sister, but I don't know what I would have done if something had happened to her. If you know who planned this, I want the information. I need to protect my wife. I sigh and run a hand through my hair. There's no sense punching the truth out of him. I've done enough to piss off Camilla this week. You've known my sister a little over 7 days. I've known her since the day she was born. I held her hours after she came into the world, and promised I'd never let her come to harm. People have come for her 4 times, but today was the first time I watched it happen. If you could look into my mind right now, you'd see a raging fire stronger than the depths of hell. Let me find out who's behind it, and I'll let you know. For now, keep my sister safe, or I swear to God, I will skin you alive. An hour later, Daniel retires to Nadia's bedroom, and Dante heads to a meeting with Antonio De Luca, Massimo, and Giulia's father. Camilla ate dinner in her room and told me she'd see me tomorrow. I didn't bother to tell her I wasn't going anywhere tonight, or the night after that. My place is safe, but not nearly as secure as Dante's penthouse, and I don't want to stray too far from her. I don't think I've ever been scared like I was today. Death is an inevitability of life. My father died young, and my mortality has always been at the forefront of my mind. Dying doesn't frighten me. At least it didn't until today. Leaving her scares me. Losing her terrifies me. I'm not ready to die, and I'm sure as fuck not prepared to live without her. Dante was right. Love is power. It's clarity in the midst of chaos. I reach her bedroom door and find it open, cracked an inch to allow the dogs easy access when they're ready to return from the kitchen. Not wanting to barge in on her unexpectedly, I tap lightly on the wood and crane my head to get a better look inside the room, wondering if she's already fallen asleep. It's early, but my girl had a rough day. Her bed is unmade and recently abandoned, with the covers strewn to one side and a large indentation on her goose feather pillow. I step inside and examine her belongings. Her phone sits by her nightstand. The clothes she wore earlier today are folded neatly on a chair leading into her ensuite bathroom. That door is partially open, and although the lights are off, I see a flickering light glimmering through the door's hinge. It's too dark for a shower. Is she in the bath? Baby, are you in here? I remove my jacket and toss it onto her bed, rolling up my sleeves as I knock once on the bathroom door. Can I come in? No, you may not. Camilla stutters, and I hear her scramble within, splashing water as she snuffs out her candle, hoping I can't see her in the dark. I knock again and peek my head inside with an undeniable smile on my face. It's dark, but enough light comes in from the window above the bathtub to illuminate her beautiful face. Are you taking a bath? No, I'm doing my taxes. I thought I'd get a head start for next year. She chuckles sweetly and waves her arms along the water's surface, strategically pushing the bubbles to cover her naked body underneath. Taxes? Have I told you I studied accounting in college? I unbutton my shirt and pull it out from my pants. She doesn't tell me to leave, but watches me slip the shirt off my shoulders and drop it to the floor. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. The tub is large enough for 2 people, but I'd hardly expect her to invite me in. Accounting, huh? Camilla lifts her left leg and twirls her perfectly pedicured foot out of the water. My eyes focus on her red nail polish, and I imagine sucking a toe right into my mouth. The dirty thought almost makes me laugh out loud. I've never had that fetish, but I couldn't resist if that foot ever came near my face. I nod. I studied business. Accounting 101 is mandatory. I unbuckle my belt and unzip my pants, but keep them sagging just above my hips. I'm not close enough to step in, but near enough to see the outline of her legs and a perky pink nipple peeking out from beneath the bubbles. She sighs and lifts a pink loofah she's hung around the faucet. Are you getting in? My heart flutters. Are you inviting me? This is a weird start, but I don't want to be alone right now. She brings her legs together and props up her knees, pointing to the other side of the bathtub. There's room enough for two. I kick off my shoes and socks, then drop my pants, leaving my boxer briefs in place. She lifts her head, and her wide eyes rake over my body. Her voice trembles as her eyes linger on my chest, dropping slightly to stare at my jutting erection. I'm so fucking hard. I'm seconds from ripping a hole in the fabric. I like your tattoos. Do each one mean something special? I nod and slide the boxers off my legs, completely naked and vulnerable in front of the girl I'm going to marry. This relationship has gone backward. We started this by agreeing to a lifelong commitment and are only now getting into the fun part. Will you tell me what each one means? Camila asks, eyes blinking as she watches me enter the water and sit across from her. I stretch my legs, straddling her body until my feet graze the opposite side. She's naked, inches away, and all fucking mine. I'll tell you everything you want to know. I stretch my arm across the water and offer her my hand, desperate to pull her close and feel her thighs wrapped tightly around my face. She stares at my fingers and touches each one with her fingertips. I know what this means, and I'm not afraid. You should never be afraid of me. I'm here to serve you. The words come out with ease, and each one feels almost sacred. This is my woman. I'm her man. And holy fuck, I want to prove it to her. What does that mean? She angles her head and stares. Her eyes grow wide with a look of confusion. I clasp a hand and pull her into my lap. Let me show you. 19. Diego. Lust motivates. It's a lot like love, but the urgency is greater. The need is stronger. There's no room for patience when the woman who's kept you perpetually hard for 7 days sits naked across a tiny body of water. My enthusiasm can't be helped. I'm a wicked, depraved soul in need of redemption. Just not tonight. I move so fast that Camila doesn't know it until she's on my lap, straddling my thighs, our lips sealed in a greedy kiss that destroys the invisible barrier between us. She's kept me away, needy, hungry, desperate for her touch, and constructed a high wall of sass to keep me from getting close. But I secretly loved it. I'm at the top of the food chain. Since I'm the nephew of the dawn, everyone is eager to give me what I want. As soon as I enter a room, crowds part. Wherever I am, women throw themselves at me. People treat me like I'm a fucking prince. Not her. She enjoys taunting me. She loves pissing me off. It's her thing, and she's damn good at it. In the same situation, anyone else would be dead and buried. Not Camila. Strangely, her temperamental bullshit makes me harder than steel. Her round ass fits perfectly on my lap, as if the supple globes were designed specifically to mold into my hands. I've dreamt of having her like this since the night at her father's swimming pool when the outline of her breasts and pussy in that canary yellow bikini made me lose my breath and mind. It took her 3 days to make me fall in love, and 4 more to turn me into her slave. This isn't who I am. I don't chase women or beg for love, but she's turned me into the most fervent convert. Diego, she whispers, and her breathless moans send shivers down my spine. She's lost in a moment of bliss, emotionally naked and untethered, as she melts into my arms. I'm right here, mi alma. I'm here to give you whatever you want. I hold her tighter in my arms, wanting to feel as close as 2 people can be. The last 4 days have been fucking torture, and today's scare turned me into a panicked mess. For the first time in my life, I fear losing someone. As much as I want to keep her hidden, locked away from the world so no one can get to her, I love her too much to put her in a cage. I want my girl to taste the freedom she's been denied her whole life, within reason. I don't care how we started, and it doesn't matter how tonight ends. I just need to lose myself in her arms for a short while. We have the rest of our lives. There's no need to take everything tonight. I want you. I want to make you feel good. With a tiny pout, she focuses on me, locking eyes in a pensive gaze that stabs my heart. Julia got to her, and she's operating under the misconception that she needs to prove that she can satisfy me. I shake my head and lean close. Our lips are only centimeters apart. If I'd known life would give me you, I would have waited. You don't need to worry about pleasing me, baby girl. Your existence pleases me more than any high I've ever had. But, her eyes glisten with tears that make me want to maim Julia and myself for putting those thoughts in her head. No buts. You're exactly what I want, and 1,000 times better than I deserve. I cup the back of her head and bring her lips to mine. It's not soft or romantic. It's pleading, punishing, the product of long days, sleepless nights, and a hunger that's too frenzied to be denied. Diego, I want you. Camila whimpers through kisses, surrendering to my lust, teasing my lips as she swirls her tongue around mine. My little girl likes to be kissed. I tuck that fact away for later and save it to my mental hard drive. This is the part I've been waiting for. This is the time to discover every little detail, quirk, and lick she enjoys. Camila kisses me hungrily, moaning and trembling in my arms as she presses her breasts against my heaving chest. Her kiss makes my mind unravel. Her touch makes my heart swell. She can't get enough of my lips, and I can't get enough of her. I'll never get enough of her. But right now, I need to slow things down. As much as I want to spend the next few hours satisfying every craving she has, I need to take it easy. I've never been with a virgin, not even when I was one. Innocence carries baggage I couldn't handle. Some assholes love to pop as many cherries as they can find, but that's a dick move when you have no intention of sticking around. Camila may not have saved herself for me, but she saved herself for marriage, and with less than a month to wait, the sacrifice isn't too much to ask. Her needs come first. Baby, we don't have to get ahead of ourselves. I could cut my tongue out for uttering those words, but this is not the time to be selfish. I clasp her hands and hold her steady. With every kiss we share, she grinds her bare pussy against my insistent cock. If she doesn't slow down, stop, or leave the room, I will lose control like a 13-year-old boy having his first wet dream. Don't you want me? Camila rises to her knees and flaunts her breasts inches from my face. This is the first time I've seen them in all their glory. They're full, supple, and so fucking proud. I feel like I should stand at attention and salute them. This girl doesn't play fair. I snake my hands around her back and smash her giant tits in my face. My mouth finds a tight nipple, licking, suckling. Of course I want you. Are you insane? I murmur against her flesh, a fiendish glutton without an ounce of shame. She threads her fingers through my hair and arches her back, using my head for purchase. My feast continues, but my hands drop to the perfect globes of her exposed ass. I need her flesh, squeezing it so hard I'm sure I'll see hand marks tomorrow. Good. I want to leave an imprint, a calling card that I was here, and no other motherfuckers better dream of touching what belongs to me. Tell me you want this. Don't do it for me. Don't even do it for us. Say you want me to make you feel good, but don't do this because you want to prove something. Tell me you want me to make love to you or fuck you or both. I'm down for both. But do it because Camila Castro wants Diego Serpico, not the other way around. My words emerge in a panicked rush, wanting to be sure my girl does precisely as she pleases. She leans into my hungry embrace and whispers, I'm down for both.
20. Camila.
You've been a horrible tease.
Diego growls, his eyes fixed on mine as he catches my waist and lifts me out of the tub. He winds my legs around his waist and carries me into the bedroom, dripping water every step. I wasn't trying to be. I lie. Diego is used to having power. He doesn't know what it feels like to be helpless. Sex is the only card I have. Until now, I had no idea how powerful it could make me feel.
Yes, you were.
He places me on the bed and stands back, his eyes devouring my naked body. I feel like I should cover up or place a hand over the essential things, but I can't make myself move. I want him to look at me.
But you can make it up to me.
I can? I'm genuinely curious, too clueless to read the sexual connotation. He nods and licks his lips, his eyes blazing with heat.
Spread your legs. Let me see what belongs to me.
My skin prickles with desire, but I shake my head from side to side, too bashful to comply. But then you'll see how wet I am. He groans and leans his thighs against the edge of the mattress. He clasps my ankles and lifts my foot to his lips.
You are fucking killing me, baby girl. Just fucking killing me.
Diego licks the bottom of my foot and holds my arm against his chin. I squirm, unsure where this is going, and scared I'll ruin the moment because I'm too ticklish to control my laughter. He kisses my toes, licking each one before slipping the big one between his lips. My wiggling ceases. A shuddering moan escapes my lips, and I lose control of my limbs, involuntarily spreading my legs when he releases my foot. His piercing gaze drops to the apex of my thighs, and he grunts his approval.
That's it, baby. That's exactly what I wanted to see.
Exposed and vulnerable, I lift my hands to cover my breasts, embarrassed by his ogling, but too mesmerized by the look in his eyes to hide his view.
You're so wet, Camila.
My skin tingles as his fingertips dance across my inner thighs.
And I can tell that's not from our bath.
He cups my pussy and slides his thick fingers down my slit, humming with satisfaction as he gathers a generous helping and brings it to his lips.
Your pussy tastes sweeter than honey. I might get cavities from eating it every fucking day.
He doesn't give me a chance to respond, and even if he did, I'm not sure what I would say. This is the most erotic moment of my life, with the hottest man I've ever seen. A man who will soon be my husband. Diego, I whimper through gasps, reeling with pleasure as his tongue swipes my clit, striking it once, twice, too many times to count as his giant mitts slide under my ass, and he lifts my sex directly against his hungry mouth. He feasts, shamelessly spearing my pussy with his tongue as his finger makes lazy circles around my clit. His hot breath makes me shiver. His rabid technique makes me howl.
Fuck, baby. You're a mess. You're so fucking wet I think I might drown.
He groans and punishes my throbbing clit with hungry lashes until my thighs tremble against his cheeks. His words bring flames to my cheeks, but I'm almost too overheated to notice. I feel like I'm on fire, and Diego's the arsonist who takes pride in his work. Diego, it's too much. I feel like I'm going to explode. I toss my head back on my pillow and cry out, the relentless ache deep within my core, releasing with such a violent shudder, I nearly knock Diego off the bed.
That's it, little girl. Come in my mouth. Give me everything you've got.
He drags his tongue through my pussy and savors my arousal, purring like a cat drinking milk. Oh my God, that was incredible. He deserves praise, and I won't slink away from giving him his due. He made me come. I've never even been able to pull that off.
Sooner or later, you'll have to admit you're falling in love with me.
He smiles and positions himself between my thighs, fisting his massive cock in a threatening manner. As much as I want to feel it inside me, I refuse to give in to his brand of terrorism. You first.
21. Diego. Tell me you want me. Tell me you want me to break this pussy in and make you mine. I'm a vile, despicable man. God damn it, she brings out the animal in me. She's the only woman I'll ever have for the rest of my life. Monogamy never interested me, but now that I've tasted my girl and know what she feels like in my arms, the rest of the world can burn. All I need is her. Diego, I'm so ready for your cock, so wet and hot. Make this pussy yours before I take it away for good. She's teasing me. I love when she fucks with my head. No one can do it but her. You're not taking anything away from me. This pussy is mine. I'm going to fuck you so much you get used to coming every day. I'll have you begging me for it. I drag the swollen head of my cock through her warm, glistening pussy and nudge her clit until she's moaning with anticipation. I'm begging now. Her eyes hood as she arches her back and thrusts her tits in my face. My mouth waters, and I lick my lips, hungry to take a nipple between my teeth. This may hurt you, baby. Tell me to stop if you need a break. I sink an inch into her slick channel and hold my breath, pushing myself to the limits of sanity as I hold off thrusting all the way in. She's so tight, my cock throbs from the harsh constriction of her vice-like pussy. Pleasure seizes my senses, and I growl, struggling to contain the rabid need coursing through my veins. I need to feel your cock inside me, she moans softly, chewing her lip as she grinds into my cock. I'm yours, Diego. Make it real. Mark me with your cum. God damn, she never plays fair. I love you, Camila. I don't want to do this until you know I love you. I think I knew it from the start, but I couldn't admit it. I've never loved anyone before, and I don't know if I'll be any good at it, but I promise I'll try. I stumble through unfamiliar territory and shower her with the truth. She extends her arms, and I fall forward into her embrace, our lips molding, our tongues dancing, and my steely cock pushing into her tight walls. Please, Diego? She breathes my name, lifting her hips to meet my plunging cock. You loved teasing me, didn't you? I pant, guiding my cock in and out, pushing gently as her primed pussy strangles me. My vision blurs as my head spins with an overload of adrenaline. She feels so fucking good, so warm and ripe. I fear I may blow my load too soon. She nods, her hands gripping my shoulders, her legs wrapped around my waist. I love making you mad. Take it out on my pussy. Make me pay for it. She doesn't know what she's asking. She doesn't know how rough I can get, how badly I want to claim her pussy and brand it with my cock. It looks like I've got a bad girl on my hands. I thrust harder, deeper, giving her a preview of what might come if she doesn't watch her pretty little mouth. Yes, like that. She whimpers and lifts her legs, pointing and curling her toes as the first frenzied wave of bliss seizes her limbs. Please, Diego. How can I deny her what she wants? I slide my hands beneath her ass and thrust to the hilt, bottoming out as her untrained pussy envelops my swollen cock. She cries out, then bites her lip, fearful someone might hear us. It hardly makes a dent. This is what you wanted. You wanted me to leave my mark on this pussy. You begged for my cum. I move in and out of her velvet pussy, thrusting, pistoning wildly as her body moves in time with mine. She shudders, crying out as her legs tighten around my waist. She's so fucking hot and ready, so greedy for my cock. If I wasn't already marrying her, I'd propose. It's what I want. You're what I want. I love you. Her words are music to my ears. 7 days feels premature for a declaration of love, but some emotions bite you in the ass before you have time to reason with your heart. I want to own every inch of Camila's body, but more than anything, I need her heart. I'll always give you what you want. I know you will. Her tight pussy clenches and clings to my cock through every feral thrust. I growl and fuck her like a man who's finally won the object of his obsession. Unhinged, insane, grunting like a savage beast finally allowed to mate. I'm coming. I think I'm coming. Her soft cries turn into squeals. She arches her back, and her hard nipples brush against my chest. The sight and touch turn me rabid. I don't have the strength to hold on. Come on my cock, little girl. Mark me the way I'm marking you. I groan and stare into her stunned expression, thrusting, pumping her eager little pussy until she explodes so violently she drags me with her. My bare cock floods her virgin pussy, and I smile to myself, wondering how long it'll take me to knock her up. We should have waited, but I'm not fucking sorry. Oh my God! A loud moan bursts through her tight lips, and I silence her cries with a kiss. I love you, baby, but I don't want your dogs to kill me.
22. Epilogue. 3 weeks later. Camila.
Camila Elena Castro, what are you wearing? That is not the dress we bought together in Paris.
My mother stands by the door of the cathedral's private suite and gawks, slack-jawed, eyes wide, and panties in a bunch. No, but it's more me. Don't you think it's pretty? I twirl in front of the mirror and hold out the hem of the white sleeveless dress with a twisted bodice and sheer overlay. Diego insisted I find the right dress, one that suited me with no interference from my overbearing mother. I know she means well and loves me, but I'm minutes from becoming a married woman and embarking on a new life with the man I love. It's only appropriate to begin with a dress that makes me feel like me. She swallows the pride lodged in her throat and sighs.
See, mi reina, you look beautiful. You always look beautiful.
She steps toward me with her arms spread wide and brings me in for a hug.
I told you this wasn't the end of the world. Diego is so handsome. How could you not fall in love?
I narrow my gaze, suspicious if she even considered the possibility of love. But since she's right, and that hot, hateful man has made me fall in love. I've chosen to let her ulterior motives slide. Sophia slides in between us and pushes my mother out of the way. "Oh, Mila, you look wonderful. You're absolutely glowing." She leans in, slips my hair out of the way, and whispers in my ear. "You're not pregnant, are you?" My eyes widen as I calculate numbers and dates in my frazzled mind. After I perform some sketchy math and assure myself that it's too soon to tell either way, I shake my head. "No, it's just love. And lots of sex."
Jesus Christ, Mila. I heard that.
My brother Dario cringes, disgusted by my confession, but too much of a man-whore to pass judgment. He bends forward and plants a kiss on my forehead.
Be good, hormiguita.
Little Ant is one of my many childhood nicknames. I wrap my arms around his neck and pull him down, holding him tight as my eyes water. "Take care of yourself, Toro," I sigh, using the nickname I gave him for being stubborn like a bull. "I love you." Emotion fills the room, and Sophia hands me a tissue, forcing me to use it before I make a mess of my makeup. But the worst is yet to come.
Te voy a extrañar, princesa.
Iago sweeps me in his arms and tries to keep his tears at bay.
My men are outside, and Diego's people have done a thorough sweep of the church. Trust me when I say we won't let anything happen to you.
"I'm going to miss you too." I repeat his Spanish words as my breaking heart threatens to shatter. Through better or worse, he's always been my rock. But I know he's happy I've found someone to take up the torch. No doubt I've been a handful. Sophia hands me my bouquet of pink roses and peonies, one of the many gifts from Diego, and helps me carry my train into the vestibule. My father stands ready by the inner doors and helps me adjust my veil of Spanish lace, the one thing I kept from my mother's selection.
I'm sorry I made you do this, mi reina, but I hope you find happiness. He tells me he loves you very much.
My father bows his head and kisses my forehead. I hold his hand against my cheek and reassure him that all is well. "I love him too, Papa. You shouldn't have done it. I still have a few years of anger to work through. But if it was up to me, he's the man I would have chosen for myself." I tease and squeeze his hand. "Now, let's go give me away." The church is packed, front to back, left to right, with local politicians, celebrities from here and Mexico, and a who's who of Mafia, Bratva, and cartel players. I don't recognize most faces, but it doesn't matter. I only see Diego. He smiles at me from a distance, holding my gaze as I walk toward him, one step at a time, nervous, anxious, but so eager to marry him. He's an arrogant, cocky, depraved man, the madman of Manhattan. But he's all mine. We reach the front of the cathedral, and my father places my hand in Diego's. Diego's eyes glisten, and I make a mental note to tease him later.
You look beautiful, mi alma. Thank you for showing up.
I smile and exhale a long sigh of relief. This is exactly where I want to be. This concludes Depravity by Matilda Martel, narrated by Stephanie Rose and Tyler Darby. Copyright 2023 by Matilda Martel. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with Matilda Martel, care of SBR Media, and was produced in the year 2024 by Tantor Media Incorporated, a division of Recorded Books, which holds the copyright thereto. Please visit tantor.com for more information on our growing library of unabridged audiobooks.